Yep.
Welcome to North Hobart Oval for what should be an absolute blockbuster to start round 11 of the Southern Cross Tasmanian State League. It's Hobart City Demons up against North Launceston. Perfect conditions for footy, and it should be an absolute cracking contest. I'm Damien Gill, bringing this one live to you. Alongside me is Chris Rowbottom and Cam Brown. Welcome, fellas.
Yeah, thanks, Gilly. Thanks for having me. It's cracking day for footy out there. The last time I was here, it was a bit miserable when Hobart City Demons took on Launceston, but that day they got a really good win, probably their best win, if not for the season, maybe for the past couple of years almost. But today they come up against the North Launceston team that has lost their past 2 games in the State League. They'll be smarting and really hoping to get back on the winners list. Big challenge for the Demons.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, Damo and Rowan. Yeah, really looking forward to this game, and in particular, as Rowan just mentioned, North Launceston perhaps surprising in that they lost their last 2 matches, so they'll be looking to bounce back. And for Hobart City, it's probably all about the response today, Damo. We saw them a couple of weeks ago against Launceston, and they looked really impressive that day in ordinary conditions, as Rowie just said, but then also caught them a week later against Glenorchy at KG5, and they were pretty disappointing on that night, and they struggled to really convert any forward momentum into score. So look, contrasting, it's all going to be about the response today. So Hobart City will get an idea of where they're at, currently just outside the 5, so if they need to win today to I guess maintain touch, and also from a North Launceston perspective, they just need to get back on the winners list.
They do indeed. It's a very interesting season so far, a lot of twists and turns. North Lonnie looked untouchable the early part of the season. They've lost the last couple. They'll be really looking forward to hopefully getting back on the winners list. There's been a fair few changes for North Launceston, so they're still sort of working out their best 22s, which is what Tom Cowell said throughout the week. So interesting to see their response, as you said, Brownie. But Hobart City Demons, if they are to break in the 5, they're probably going to have to take a scalp at some point throughout the season, and none better than North Launceston today.
And they'll get an opportunity. They'll look a little bit better today, I think, in the forward line, Rowie, with Chris Dell. He's a really important acquisition for them. In particular, they rely very heavily on that fast ball movement and people like Williamson and Willis to run in the open space. But Dell will give him a target. He works really hard defensively. He can kick goals. So an important addition to that line up today.
Yeah, the important thing there is Dell will just create another matchup that North Launceston will have to worry about. Obviously, Williamson and Willis are the 2 that they'll probably put the most time into, but if you don't look after a Callendell, he can get under the radar and kick 3 or 4. So he looms as an important player and an important part of the outcome of this match.
You've both touched on the win against Launceston a few weeks ago. They weren't actually full strength on that occasion. They had Jaden Charlton out, Dell wasn't in there, and their Mariners weren't in. So they're actually a lot stronger this time around up against North Launceston. So no real excuses for Hobart City Demons today, especially when conditions are so good for footy and that fast style of footy that they like to play.
Yeah. Absolutely, and it is a fast brand, and we saw that a couple of weeks ago. But that'll be probably where they will look to try and get the advantage today, boys. That leg speed, particularly off half back and through the midfield, and obviously that pace in the forward line, particularly Williamson. He's electric when he's got some space to run into in the forward 50. But interested, Rowie, in your thoughts on a couple of, I guess, matchups today. Interested to see where Lockhart would start. Love to see him roll up into the midfield or even play in the small forward role, but I think he would start at half back, which means it could be a tantalising matchup against Williamson or Willis this afternoon.
Yeah, he probably will start at half back or even up on a wing. Lockhart, we know how well he uses the football. He's a real flavour of the month, and he's emerged over the past probably 4 or 5 weeks as one of the key gun players of the competition. So how Hobart City Demons tackle him, whether or not they send a player to him and put the hard tag on, or whether they are confident to go against him and back themselves and let him run a little bit free, that'll be interesting to see as well. Be interesting to see him have a little spell up forward too. We know he's got those wonderful skills. I can see him being dangerous around goal, so it might be a little spanner in the works that North Launceston could throw, just to throw Hobart City off their game and to affect their plans a little bit too.
The thing about North Launceston, they probably need him in the back half just to set things up, but they've also got a really potent forward line, so I don't know whether they need him there, but I reckon, I agree with you guys, I reckon he'd be very, very dangerous if he did stroll forward. I'm really looking forward to the midfield battle in this one. North Launceston had their colours lowered up against Lauderdale a few weeks ago. I think you'll see a massive response from their midfield today. Blokes like Whitford, Cox, Goodyear and Walsh didn't have their best day, and I'd expect a big response. But Hobart City Demons, they're not easy beats inside. Ryan Matthews, probably one of the form players in the competition.
No, you go, Roddy, sorry.
I'm just going to say it's going to be interesting as well, coming off the back of the state game too, where Whitford and Cox Goodyear especially really did have their colours lowered. They had their colours lowered the week before. They're going to be really hungry to win some footy. They haven't seen much of it the last couple of weeks. So two real class players and quality players of the competition are really up there in the top echelon of players in the state league. How they respond, as you say, Gilly, it'll be really interesting to see. I think one or two of them could have a real day out.
You're right, and look, a couple of really pivotal players, as both you boys have mentioned. In Walsh in particular, he's a beautiful kick of the footy, so if he can get his hands on it today, he could really do some damage. We know Couch is just a prolific ball winner, but when we saw him a couple of weeks ago, Damo, he pushed forward and kicked, I think it was a 5 or 6 against Clarence, as that one out forward at times, and he's so very strong in the air and dangerous at ground level, so that'll be interesting. The other one for mine, Damo, is a couple of weeks ago we saw Tommy Bennett play up on the wing at Bellrue, but obviously last start he went forward and was really damaging, playing closer to goal, where we've probably seen him traditionally play at statewide league level, so you'd expect him to start there again today.
So we're not far away from the first bounce here at North Hobart Oval. Geez, it's a pretty picture, such a nice backdrop for footy. And the sun is shining, beautiful weather, no excuses today. Both teams will be looking to be on song. Looks like Couch will stroll into midfield maybe. I'd like to see him through midfield to start the game, really assert himself on this one, boys.
Yeah, thought he was terrific last week, Damo, probably in our best 2 or 3 players for the state against the NEFL, and worked really hard, predominantly played in the midfield, probably 90% of his time spent there. So I think you're right, it looks like he will start in the midfield as we begin to start here. Interesting to see Hobart City's line-up as they make their way out into their positions.
So both huddles have broken now. Hobart City Demons walking to their positions. North Launceston look all ready to go. Big Alex Lee's in there. Taylor Whitford, of course, lining up in midfield. Mark Walsh, as you mentioned before, he's lining up in there too for North Launceston. Jack Event looks like he's starting on ball as well, so another quality player.
Yeah, he's improved, isn't he, Jack Event? And we've seen him play as a bit of a tagger over the last few years, but we've seen a few games this year where he's become a goal kicker, and another string to his bow, obviously starting in the midfield today. So looks like the usual suspects in there for Hobart City, although Blake Grant looks like he's inside the centre square. We're used to him playing in that small forward role.
So we're just about all set to go here at North Hobart Oval. Players are in their final positions. Umpires just making sure everything is A-OK and ready to go. There's a little bit of niggle at centre half forward there for North Launceston as the players just get acquainted. Just about to get things kicked off here. Round 11, Southern Cross State League. Up goes the footy. There goes the siren. And we're away. So Alex Lee wins the tap down. Players fighting hard. Campbell emerged with a ball. One out of handball. Player grabbed in the tackle. Demons looking to get the first clearance out of the middle here. It's a scrappy old start. No clear possessions yet. There's a kick away to half forward. Interesting tussle there. Might have been a little bit of holding. In fact, umpire said there was. And it's going to go the way of North Launceston. So
yeah, Cox Goodyear here, Rowie. He'll give himself every opportunity to wind up on that left foot, and you'd almost expect him to get the distance from here.
So, interestingly, here, is that Burt? Looks to be starting back at this stage as Cox Goodyear approaches, gives it a fair old ride, and I tell you what, that's the perfect start for North Launceston. Cox Goodyear splits the middle off a free kick. And that ball travelled all of 55 metres. Wonderful kick of the footy, Cox Goodyear. North Lonnie off to the perfect start.
Well, he's a dangerous player, and he started inside the forward 50 today. And we know he spent a little bit of time, or more predominantly, in the midfield this year in the games that we've seen him, boys. But particularly last year and a few seasons back, he's been more that dangerous small forward. And because he's such a penetrating kick, he'll make it really difficult if he gets chances like he did then. Beautiful kick from outside 50. Great start for North Launceston.
Yeah, you don't want to give Cox Goodyear too many chances because he can bury you, especially from range. As Walsher won the tap down. White went and got his own footy. Here's Norton trying to find a way through. Event got a little handball. Lee scraps the ball forward. Hobart City player unable to gather. It was his Couch. Flying shot forward, man in the pocket. And that was Headland. Was unable to get to the footy. The ball went out of bounds on the full. So Hobart City will have their first chance to get things moving.
Young Headland's an interesting one. He actually played senior soccer for Northern Rangers a couple of years ago, so a multi-sport athlete.
Code jumper.
So that kick to no real avail back with North Launceston. On the far side, to bring it forward, a nudgy little kick, and it's Cox Goodyear again, proving dangerous early in this one. He gathers inside 50, and that booming boot, he'll look to load up and put through a second.
Gee, he looked to have a lot of space there, Cox Goodyear. Lost his man, and as we just saw minutes ago, this range won't trouble him.
So Cox Goodyear strolls on in. That booming boot, he kicks through it. Oh, almost just hits the woodwork. So a minor score for North Launceston. Cox Goodyear proving dangerous early though. So kicked out. Oh, it's a shocker, and it's straight to the opposition. Straight to Taylor Whitford. So a sloppy start here from Hobart City Demons.
Yeah, I think it was Nick Hutchinson with the kick, the Mariner, who was entrusted with the responsibility there, but unfortunately just overcooked it a little bit. He's normally pretty reliable by foot, but unfortunately it's in for Hobart City, it's in the wrong hands again, because Taylor Whitford, a beautiful kick of the footy. You should kick it from here.
So Whitford sends it on its way. He'll miss to the near side though.
Never really looked like it there, Rowie.
No, he almost stabbed at it, Whitford. So let's see if Hobart City Demons can redeem themselves from the kick out. It won't be Hutchinson this time. In fact, it's Dell who kicks things long towards the contest, and the ball will spill out of bounds the outer side.
Yeah, Rowie, you picked it really early with Zach Burt starting down back, which is an interesting move from North Launceston. In the second half against Clarence, he certainly spent some time there, but played pretty well last club game, against Lauderdale as a forward, so showing his versatility.
So when it comes, Rucks go at it. Couch just tried to knock it forward, only went as far as Matthews. Managed to get a handball out though. Demons looking to build something here off half-back. Scrappy old ball, nobody could get to it. Tapped on by Caswell. Demons will emerge with a footy here as they send it forward through Charlton. Bouncing ball, tricky one for the Hobart City Demons player. Got around a couple, sent a shot on goal, and that might just bounce through. Just missed.
He did pretty well, Kilpatrick. He stood up on the tackle and just had the presence of mind not to panic, and probably had an opportunity there to kick a goal. But first inside 50, I think, for Hobart City.
So Lockhart kicks to himself and just sends it beyond 50 to a contest. Couch was there at the base. Ball come off hands. Looks like it's going to be locked in. We have a whistle. So, interesting start to this one. Cox Goodyear with the early goal. Chance there for Hobart City. Unable to convert. Ponting was in there, as was Eddie Cole. Might have got one in the back. Umpire said no. Couch on hands and knees. Fighting hard too. Event was there. And we'll have another throw up.
A couple of interesting matchups. The Hobart City dangerous forwards. Goss has got the job on Williamson, and looks like Richter Salter on Willis.
So Lee gathered up a handball. The big ruckman working hard at ground level. Event, I think it was, on the bottom of the pack. He's been claimed. So a third stoppage here. Bit of an arm wrestle early. North Hobart Oval. Up she goes. One down. North Launceston will get the kick away to a contest. No player unable to take the mark, and that was a crunching tackle. In fact, the umpire said it was too crunching because Hugh Williams got the free kick. Played on immediately as they look to work things out. Dell, little ball over the top, finds his man, and that's a good mark taken there by Kilpatrick. Plays on immediately to Norton. Little ball inside. Didn't really have a look. It'll be chopped off by Lee, who got the ball over to Pearton. And he was looking for Lockhart, who took a fantastic mark and needed to go and did. Just that spring, able to hold on to the footy. Here's Foon. Thomas still looking to work it out off half-back. Short one to Couch was good, but he spilt the beans. He'll be okay, though, as Lockhart comes through. Got a handball back to Couch, was claimed. Eddie Cole working hard there. Caswell too. Patrick oversees things, and the umpire blows the whistle and says, "I'll have it, thank you."
Fantastic pressure there, Brownie, from Hobart City Demons to keep it locked in. Just get it out of the danger zone there, North Launceston. As this one's fisted down, Couch eyes it off. It's stolen from Hobart City, and it's on the boot through Grant. A tumble punt into 50, fisted away by Big Bert, and it bounces towards the boundary. Interesting to see Zach Burt back in defence.
Yeah, really interesting move, that.
I have observed that North Launceston weakness probably is their tools in the defensive setup. Probably short a couple as the throw comes in. Lee palms it down. No clear winner. Matthews just gets it on the boot. Extracted by Ponting. Kicks it straight into White. It's gathered. A sloppy handball effort. And it's holding the ball. So it'll be Henry Johnston with the ball. Just a little chipping kick. Finds Jaden Charlton right on the paint of 50. A nudging ball looking for Williamson. He can't gather. Burke bustles in and gets a piece of him. Oh, Hobart City Demons through Maple. Drop one there, and North Launceston will see it out through Baker. Not a great kick at all. Straight to the opposition skipper and Williams. They look to switch it up. It's not a great ball, but luckily red and blue everywhere. Matthews out for the hard-working Campbell. He runs this one down. The red ponytail, not much offering on. He goes to Cole. Cole straight under pressure. Lovely from Cox Goodyear. Gets it down for Bennett. In comes Campbell. Hot soup under the pump. He just chips back to his defence and finds Hutchinson. Just a little kick onto the outside. Found a runner. It's a bouncing ball approaching 50. Caswell and Lockhart. Caswell wrapped up. There'll be a ball up just inside the far side here at North Hobart Oval. A hot start for North Launceston, but they haven't made the Demons pay. Just one behind to the Demons. 1 goal, 2-8 to North Launceston.
So ball spills out again. We'll have another stoppage. It's Lee and White battle hard in the ruck early. Good contest, although looks like Lee won't be up against White this contest. In fact, it's Maple. Lee won it down only as far as Campbell, who won a handball. Chance now for the Demons to go inside 50, but the ball was smothered. It will bounce out for another throw-in on the outer side.
North Launceston with the extra man at the stoppage here, Rowie. Nick Hutchinson is playing a loose man behind the ball at this particular stoppage at the moment for Hobart City.
So they're backing the skills of Hutchinson. They want to get it into his hands. The ball comes in again. Ponting was fighting hard. Little ball one out there to Cole. Ponting with the tackle. Demons, another chance to go forward here. Gathered by Lee. Ponting working hard again. Couldn't shrug the tackle. Took the tackler on, and the umpire said it was holding the ball. And rightly so. He had ample opportunity. So Baker resumes things for Hobart City. Little short one is good to Charlton. We'll look to go inside 50.
Hutchinson on here, boys.
So just loads up, sends a long ball inside 50 in the Caswell direction, but Lockhart, he's had his number early. Takes a good defensive mark, opts to switch the play. He's got Homer out wide. It's a wonderful kick, but he coughed up the handball. Kilpatrick now to swoop and kicks an easy goal. So Kilpatrick was all over the sloppy Homer handball, ambled in and kicked the easiest of goals. They won't be happy with that, North Launceston.
Well, he's looked lively, Kilpatrick. He has already kicked one behind and just had the presence of mind there. The issue there for Homer just didn't look balanced when he obviously took the mark, and then we sort of on the back foot when he went to handball, which created the turnover. But a good goal for Hobart City at the moment. A lot of people flooding back into their forward 50, so it's making it hard for them to have that space that they love having some of those half-forward flankers run into. So had to create an opportunity, and it was a turnover, and all of a sudden 1 goal each on the scoreboard for both teams.
Up it goes. Homer, maybe he can do better from the hit out. He wins this one. It comes out. Under it is Campbell. Doesn't go very far. Play on, says the umpire. But Campbell caught high, so he'll get a free kick. Being busy early has Campbell. Dell offering short, ignores that. Opts to go longer. Lockhart might just swallow this one. He does.
Very
Straight
brave
to
in the
him.
air, Lockhart.
He is indeed. The far side of Pearton. He's got a bit of space to use. Measures a kick. Finds McCulloch on the lead. Gives it back. Longer now, Pearton. A bouncing ball. Oh, the bounce does Bennett no favours. They'll scurry it out of defence now. Hobart City Demons. Off the boot of Millhouse. It goes long, but too long, and out on the full. So straight back to North Launceston here.
So the Bombers get things moving. Here's Whitford at half forward. Receives the short pass. He'll look to go inside 50. Where's Cox Goodger? Is he lurking still? Lead comes from Bennett and he goes in that direction. Couldn't get it over the top. Matthews put himself in the hole and was brave. Couldn't bring down the mark though. City under the pump here as a party tries to track the footy. Breaks a tackle and wins a handball out on hands and knees. Players want deliberate. Umpire says yes. So that's an interesting call because he was under a lot of pressure trying to find a teammate with the hands. But as a party, pinged for deliberate. So North Launceston looking to capitalise. Long ball in. Unable to take the mark. Campbell tracks it clean and he scooped up. Gets a handball out to nobody in particular. In fact, Witten got his own footy. Catch was there and it'll go out of bounds. It's at right half forward for North Launceston. So interesting decision there, boys.
Brownie, how are you seeing this one so far?
It's a bit of an arm wrestle, isn't it, boys? No one with the real ascendancy at the moment. Hobart City probably just worked their way back in at the last 3 or 4 minutes, but it's difficult. Not a lot of pressure. Not a lot of time for the ball carriers. We've just seen then on that occasion Campbell being pinned right on the boundary line for holding the ball by Mark Walsh.
He's had a lot of it, Campbell, but on that occasion wasn't successful in getting a disposal away. Great tackle by Mark Walsh to hunt him down. You know, he's a wonderful kick of the footy. Opts to just, well, I'm not sure what that was. That was touched by Campbell.
Placed the man on the mark,
who
right?
come off the mark and affected the kick and it spills out of bounds. So they'll get out of jail here and force a stoppage, the Demons.
It's been a funny old start. North Lonnie started hot, didn't make the most of it, and I reckon the Demons have really got a foothold in this one as it's thrown in. Swatted down from Holman, not a bad hit out at all. Can't be gathered there by Baker. And it was high, so it'll be a Baxter Norton ball. And he goes out onto the wing. A nudging little pass. Finds Willis. Willis on the right, down the wing again. Burt should cut this one off. Only gets a little hand on it, and then my man Oysters Kilpatrick tries to weasel his way down the boundary and runs out of tarmac.
Been good early, Oysters. It's on the scoreboard. He's proving a little bit of a spark down forward. Hobart City Demons, but they're finding it hard to get past Jay Lockhart at the moment, who's just gobbling up everything.
That's got to be thrown back in. That was a shocker, but the play goes on.
I said no, as Norton tried to work it through. Little kick is good. Demons now have the chance to go inside 50. Runs his full measure, and that's a wonderful little pass. And it was Willis who just lost his man. Williamson, sorry.
Well done to Baxter Norton.
That was
too, to follow up. And a Mariner, and you mentioned 3 inclusions today for Hobart City.
Williamson ambles in, kicks his first, so Hobart City have 2. Williamson has 1. They open up a little lead here.
Yeah, full credit to Baxter Norton, as we just mentioned, on the left foot there. He first of all got the initial disposal, then followed up and just had the presence of mind to lower his eyes and see a target in Williamson. Unselfish play, and he's a pivotal player for them, Norton, because he has got some nice skills on the left side of his body and can break the lines with some good pace. The other one to look at, 2 boys today from youngster's point of view, is Nick Baker, just a youngster, still a bottom-age Mariner, and has started pretty well today as well.
Palmed down beautifully by Lee. Walsh takes it out. A kick on the lead of Whitford. He can't bring it in. The ball still in the forward pocket for him though, and it's Hutchinson to race onto it, and he's caught, and it'll be a North Launceston ball. So a good tackle, good follow-up work there from Whitford, and he'll have a shot on goal. So deep in their forward line, North Launceston, looking for the perfect response.
What's he go here, Rowie? Does he try and thread it with the drop punt, or will he
well, it depends
try and banana it?
There's a slight breeze out there, but I think it's going to work against him. He's on the drop punt. He's a lovely kick of the footy, Taylor Whitford, and makes no mistake on this occasion. Slots it. That is a fantastic kick of the footy from deep in the pocket, and it's not easy to kick goals from that pocket, as you know, Cam Brown.
It's just a 50-50, wasn't it? So it was unlucky there for Hobart City. You wouldn't expect to give up a goal in those circumstances, except it was in the hands of a very smart player in Taylor Whitford. And his father was a great player, Chris, for North Launceston in the 80s and early 90s, and he made no mistake there for what most people would have been a difficult shot, as you say, Ro. You don't see too many goals kicked down in front of the scoreboard.
Not much you can do about that. It was an absolutely precision kick, and the work out of the middle was fantastic too. Can they go again here, North Launceston? Matthews on the bottom of the pack, maybe dragged it in, but umpire said no. And we'll have a stoppage here. So ball up, just metres away from the centre circle as the Rucks go at it. One down. Hobart City working hard, trying to win a ball forward, but it's gathered by the Bombers, who got it to a runner off half back. The kick had a little bit too much sauce on it. As a party in two minds, didn't know whether to go back and get it. And players will converge, and that'll be held in once again.
So the D's will be bitterly disappointed with that goal, how just easy they cut through them from the centre bounce, because they worked hard for the goal of their own. As the ball comes down, Campbell can't gather, Ponting just throws it out and is holding the ball. So Hobart City Demons through Eddie Cole will get it, just beyond half back here. The D's, they'll go back to Dell, back in the side today. He's been out for a little while, Callan Dell. A longer kick beyond 50, looking for Charlton. Oh, he fumbles and gives it up, and Whitford might just pounce. He's doing well to corral him there, Charlton. Does well to get out of danger, but he's run into more. Puts it to his skipper, Williams, who coughs it up. It's out of bounds for a throw. So sloppy stuff there from the D's out of defence. Very nearly let in North Launceston.
Yeah, Jaden Charlton spilt one that he looked to have completed as the ball comes in. Lee wins it down. Matthews there, got a little handball over the top. Here's Ponting, tries to feed it back, looking for support, didn't quite get it. And the Bombers were just hassled out of it here as Ponting comes in again. A couple of the North Launceston youngsters, Peaton's there. Little handball comes back. Here's Foon. He fed a little handball, but it was chopped off by Oysters Kilpatrick. It was claimed by Ponting. And now Ponting is on the receiving end of the free kick. Gave one away a short time ago. Short ball is good, but was affected by Campbell, who emerged with the footy cleanly. Has a man off half back. Charlie White took a little bit of time, but eventually won a little handball out to Matthews, who kicks forward. They've got runners here, and this is what they do. It's that man again. Could it be? Kilpatrick runs into another open goal and picks another one for the Demons. So that is Hobart City Demons 101, the fast break footy with the two runners into the forward 50. Kilpatrick was the recipient and kicked the easiest of goals in the end.
Beautifully called, Ray. The quintessential Hobart City ball movement, that fast breakaway speed, and on that occasion was Kilpatrick, who's giving North Launceston a bit of trouble. That's his second goal. Terrific kick from Ryan Williams here on that occasion. Ryan Matthews, I should say, just had the presence of mind to look up, see the open space, and it was a really good kick. Allowed Kilpatrick to run on the open ball, and second goal for Hobart City.
Up they go. Lee wins it down straight to Couch. Will they get the response again, North Launceston? A long kick into 50. McCulloch comes out, gets hands to it, but can't claim it. Out the back it falls North Launceston's way, and it's off the boot of, who have we got there? Headland, and out for a throw. So deep in attack for North Launceston. Hobart City Demons with that fast ball movement the other way. They're looking to answer here as it's thrown in. Shallow throw, tapped away to Cox Goodyear, throws it on the boot over the top. They should be able to gather here. A bouncing ball. It's Azzopardi who watches it over the line.
Charlie White coming in off here, Row, with a bit of trouble by the look of it.
Looks to be.
Oh, no, it's not Charlie White.
Limping off. Might well be. Get an update.
We'll have to suss that one out. Whoever it is looks in a lot of pain. The ball comes in, thrown out almost by the D's. It's plucked back. Cox Goodyear just gets it, boot to ball. It's gathered by Hutchinson. He moves it out of defence, but it's straight to Mansell. Drops it off for Foon. A long ball into 50. A pack forms, it's hit down, it's won by Williams of the senior variety. They look to get it out through hands. Maple on the boot. Ball out of 50. It's Grant there who's to claim it, and he's swallowed by Mansell. The ball tumbles out of play for a throw, so pressurised stuff in defence there for the D's. They managed to just scramble it out of the 50.
So in it comes once again. It wasn't White coming off injured because he's in this ruck contest. Won it down eventually. Matthews, another disposal. He's had a bit of it early. Back to Dell, who tumbles the ball forward. They can't quite clear the area, but maybe they can now. The Demons running through Wisniewski. Got a little kick inside 50, and it's Willis on the end of it. In fact, Williamson again. Williamson looks to kick towards goal. Wasn't great, but it'll fall fortuitously to the Hobart City Demons. And they have another goal.
Through Caswell.
So Sam Caswell kicks his first. Hobart City have 4, and it's all about getting it in quick for the Demons.
Absolutely, great start, isn't it? And it was Williamson that worked really, really hard. A lateral lead, and he's got that breakaway speed. And on that occasion, Hayden Goss just couldn't go with him. He was motioning Jay Lockhart to try and pick him up. But it wasn't the best kick going forward from Williamson. But luck's of fortune there for young Caswell. His father, Mark, played some footy at North Hobart in the 90s as well, and his dad would be wrapped with that. 4th goal to the Demons.
I think the injured player might be William Hay. We'll check in on that in a moment as it's swatted down by Lee, but straight to the opposing ruckman. Cole comes out with it. He's got Couch to deal with. Gets a hand out. It was to Hugh Williams, but it's gathered back through a Venn who finds Cox Goodyear and out through Baker on the left side, the left wing, broadcast wing. He spins, does a merry dance, gets it over the top. It finds Couch. It falls into his lap, and Couch will have a look. Distance, absolutely no trouble. Slight angle. You'd think Tom Couch will put through North Launceston's 3rd, fellas.
Real arm wrestle here, and Couch, this is what he does. He moves forward, provides a legitimate target and option. That one was a little bit fortuitous, but usually swallows up his chances. Couch, he's one of the premier players in the competition, whether it be running through the midfield or having a kick up forward. As he comes in, sends the footy on its way, and it never looked in doubt. It was a fantastic kick. Tom Couch, he kicks his first. North Launceston have their 3rd, and a real interesting contest brewing here, boys.
Yeah, look, it was well worked, wasn't it, by Baker? We looked at one stage where he was going to be brought down in the tackle, but just got it forward, and that's where Couch is very clever, isn't he? He can find pockets of space, and when he's such a good set shot for goal, he makes you pay. So Hobart City, probably the better side for mine in the first 25 minutes, but having said that, just 5 points in this ball game.
No question. As it comes up, Lee and White. It's halved, but it's out through Cole there. He gets it to Campbell on the far side, just nudged forward by Norton. A sloppy kick though, and it's straight to Hayden Goss. A nudgy little ball down the wing will find Mansell. So Mansell for the Bombers. No clear options. He'll go long down the line to the numbers. And it's just nudged out of play. So out for another throw.
Yeah. Charlie White flew at the back there, unable to complete the grab. Will force the boundary throw in though. As we go deep into the first quarter. Hobart City with a 5-point advantage over North Launceston here. Lee won it down to a vent. Nicely gathered. He got a little handball off. Player was claimed in the tackle. In fact, it was holding the ball.
Yeah, Nick Hutchinson, good run down tackle.
So Hutchinson just opts to go sideways as a man out there. Happy to just hold it up for the time being, the Demons. So just assess their options going forward. Opts to just put it on the boot to half forward. Lockhart was there, but it was a nice mark taken in front. The Hobart City Demons player. So another chance here to go forward. A little short ball's good as they build up here.
Norton on the far side. He's got an option on in Dell.
Hands it back. Plays a little bit of cat and mouse with Mark Walsh. Goes inside 50. Scrappy old ball. Met solidly by Burt. Takes on 1. Takes on 2. Gets his handball out of Vent. Scrapped the ball outside 50. Only as far as Norton, who sends it back in. Kilpatrick over the back. Almost took a mark. But it'll be out of bounds.
Looks dangerous, Kilpatrick, doesn't he?
Been good.
Been a live one this first quarter.
Deep within the Hobart City Demons forward line. Can they scrounge a goal here in the shadows of quarter time?
So in it comes Lee and White. Lee with the commanding hit out, but it's gathered from Charlton on the boot. Wide and through for a behind. So a minor score for the D's. They're up here though at North Hobart Oval.
Expect Lockhart to kick to himself here, boys.
He's got a bit of space to work in, Brownie. Don't mind the call at all. And he does. Long from Lockhart beyond the arc. A pack forms. No one gathers. Lee out the back. Somehow comes out with it, but he gives it straight to Matthews. Matthews over the top. Finds a runner. That runner is Millhouse. Has his ball blocked. It's gathered by Ponting. A high up and under us. Plenty of Hutchinson. He's up to the task. The youngster gathers. He gets it moving to the far side, a long ball. Lockhart leads the foot race in front of Caswell. Caswell does well on the deck, gathers, gets by one, hands off. Looking for Charlton, it's taken away. They'll race away here, the Bombers. A long ball down the wing looking for McCulloch. And it's good defensive work from Azzopardi that sees it out for a throw.
Pretty interesting little matchup happening with Lockhart and Caswell. Lockhart's probably had the chocolates early, but Caswell's kicked the goal. In the last couple of contests, he's really competed well, the youngster. So as it comes back in, Rucks will go at it again. Lee couldn't get front spot that time, as Hutchinson tracks it towards the boundary. And it might be out on the full action. Well, it is.
Oh, he's caught him high, I think.
It's off the...
I think he's actually caught him high in the tackle.
Good call, Gilly.
Yeah, high tackle, well spotted. Better eyes than me. So... North Launceston, maybe they can strike here deep. Dell got a fist in, found a player. Here's the Demons trying to create something off half back. Ran his full measure. Handball was sloppy. North Launceston a reload here at half forward as they go deep, looking for something. Little ball out wide, looking for Norton. He's got work to do though. Manages to get it and he back his pace. No, well, eventually does. Took the player on, got a little underground handball out. It was gathered by Bennett. He was claimed in a big tackle. Fighting hard here, the Demons. So, our umpire will say, I'll have the ball, please, as they wrap it up.
Ryan Matthews and Will Campbell working really hard defensively, boys, just to push back and help their defenders.
So the ball comes up. It's won by Maple. Hands, chain of handballs out through Baker for North Launceston. And well gathered in the end by Charlie White. A good mark. Gets it out onto the far wing. Charlton on the end of a Hugh Williams kick. Just assesses his options and nudges back for Dell. Playing defence today, Callan Dell. Do see him at either end. Big Dell, the D's with a 6-point lead. He just sends it long with no real direction. Should be gathered by North Launceston. It was a contest won well in the end by Whitford, a hand out, and that's all she wrote for the first quarter here at North Hobart Oval. A tremendous arm wrestle between the Hobart City Demons and North Launceston. Hobart City Demons 4-2-26, lead North Launceston 3-2-20. How do we see it, boys?
Yeah, real interesting contest. Two young teams looking to move the ball really quickly into their forward lines. Hobart City Demons, it must be said, they seem to cope better with the chaos ball inside 50 as it is. They seem to be able to create something out of nothing, whereas North Launceston are more relying on their targets to take a mark. So Hobart City have rebounded well off half back. North Launceston, though, you do get a feeling that maybe they'll just crack this game open just with a little bit of extra class.
Yeah, they didn't get a lot out of their tall forwards in that quarter, North Launceston, in terms of Bennett was pretty well held, and so too McCulloch. So you think there's some upside in those tall players for North Launceston. But Hobart City stuck at it pretty well, boys, and I was impressed again with that fast ball movement and that leg speed where they can break open, and all of a sudden, if they've got space over the back, they're really dangerous. And we've been saying that now for a few weeks, boys, but love the work in the first quarter of Ryan Matthews. Talking to him during the week, his body's a little bit banged up, I think, boys. I think he's got the glove on today, but gee, he's been a wonderful recruit for Hobart City since coming across from Aspley. You just know exactly what you're going to get, hard, in and under, and I think his skill is a little bit underrated too, boys. He's a pretty good ball user as well, and has been pivotal in some of his score involvements today. So you'd think Hobart City would go in and Kane Richter would be fairly well pleased with that first quarter, particularly the endeavour and the intent and the pressure that they put on North Launceston when they didn't have the footy.
I think they'd be particularly happy to have a lead at quarter time, considering North Launceston had 3 shots inside, 90 seconds. They were all over them early, and they didn't make them pay, and then Hobart City Demons pretty much owned the quarter from there on out. The goal kickers, the major goal kicker to date, Callum Oysters Kilpatrick with 2, Williamson with 1, and Caswell with 1 for North Launceston. Bradley Cox Goodyear with the opener for the game. Taylor Whitford with 1. Lovely threading the needle from the pocket, and Tom Couch with the other.
Yeah, and you just look at the North Launceston goals. The Taylor Whitford one was deep, inside forward 50, a tight shot, a very skillful shot, but they're not going to kick those sort of goals all day. The Couch one almost sort of fell into his lap, went back and converted, and the Cox Goodyear one come from a free kick. It was a long bomb outside 50. So they're not getting goals through the use of their structure. They're getting goals through other avenues, and I don't think that's sustainable for North Launceston, whereas the Demons are getting goals by playing genuinely good footy and setting them up.
The D's have got their game going. I don't think it would have shocked them or the opposition how they're actually getting their goals. It'll be interesting to see what North Launceston do to try and shut that down, that fast ball movement.
Yeah, that's going to be the challenge, and you think that's what Tom Couch and his counterparts will put a lot of time and effort into during the week to stop that, but they have got them on a couple of occasions. So North Launceston, we know they've got the targets. Interesting, and we've mentioned a few times just how long they'll persist with Burt staying back. He did start on Kilpatrick. I thought he gave him the runaround a little bit in the first 5 or 10 minutes, but we know he can be swung forward. He's such a hard matchup, Zach Burt, so you'd think at some point they might throw him forward. But interesting too, Damo, during the week, the Hobart City versus North Hobart name change still gets thrown around a little bit. I'm not sure of your thoughts on that. Is that going to get across the line, do you think, the North Hobart change of name?
I don't have too many thoughts on it personally. I'm not too fussed which way it goes personally. I don't know about your call on it, Cam. I think the club will decide what the club decides, but it sounds like it's going to go to a vote at some point or other. Yeah,
well, it depends who you talk to, I think, Damo. Perhaps more the progressive people are happy with the Hobart City, but a lot of people attached from the old North Hobart days, whether that be the culture or the charism that was so prominent for North Hobart going back. They were a dominant side, weren't they, in the late 80s and early 90s, where they won a string of premierships. But all to do here in the second quarter, Rowie, and really looking forward to seeing the response from North Launceston, because they're probably outworked a little bit, it's got to be said, I think, by Hobart City. But they've got some, I've mentioned him a couple of times, Campbell. I thought he was really impressive in the first quarter. He just works really hard defensively. I think they'd love another line breaker that can really break the lines, and they can slot in and complement Matthews and Campbell. But you mentioned Caswell, and he's got a really interesting job today in terms of, I think he'll try and drag Lockhart back as much as possible to get him out of that dangerous area where he can rebound off half back. So essentially play that defensive forward role, push him back to the goal square if you can, where he's going to, I guess, limit the damage of a player like him that can do, Lockhart, because he's so very dangerous with the ball in hand and very courageous in the air.
I like the work of a couple of their Mariners boys early too. Baxter Norton did a couple of nice things, and they've entrusted Nick Hutchinson off half back to really use the ball and set them up there, and it's such a vital piece of their game because they rely on that slingshot off half back to get their running game going forward. He made a couple of errors early, Hutchinson, but I think the fact that they've just entrusted such a young player with the footy to set them up from that position is a real sign of confidence, and he's doing a pretty good job so far.
I think they've still got a little bit of upside. Sean Willis was reasonably quiet in that quarter, so from a Hobart City perspective, you think that there's some upside in their particular game. Dell started pretty well for his first game back at senior level for a number of weeks. Started down back. We thought he might have played forward, but we're just using his experience back there. I just watched the last couple of minutes, boys, and North Launceston did react to the Hobart City I guess, breakaway and that quick fast ball movement, and they obviously restricted that impact by throwing Burt back right behind the footy. So almost had the goalkeeper aspect in their game and set up there just to make sure that they couldn't get caught out again. So you expect them to do that a little bit in the second quarter.
Sorry, I was just going to say the North Lonnie tools forward really need to come into it. Holmer hasn't done much apart from an error. McCulloch and the Killer Bees, as we were calling, Bennett and Burt. I'd like to see Burt back forward and get it in and put the Hobart City defence under the pump, because they've held up well so far.
Well, it looks like Taylor Whitford's gone forward, starting this quarter probably in a forward pocket, and won't line up in the midfield.
And Zach Burt's still in defence, so it's an interesting setup. Obviously, Tommy Couch thinks they're a bit short back there, and they need the presence of Burt, but we know he can be a real handful forward.
Well, Holm was going to start in the goal square, boys, and be picked up as a party by the look of it. Hasn't quite got going in the games that I've seen him play at the moment, Lewis Holm. Obviously a very good player and a very handy recruit, but just finding his way, you'd think, over the last couple of weeks in this competition.
So we're back in the middle, ready to commence the second quarter. It's a tight one. Demons 4-2-26 lead North Launceston 3-2-20. Siren sounds, whistle is blown, and the ball is thrown up. So White and Lee go at it. Lee won it down only as far as a Hobart City player who get the first inside 50 for the second quarter. Tumbling old ball, kick got away. It's towards goal, but it'll bounce at right angles. In fact, it might have been out on the full, was it? No, to be thrown in.
No, just bounced inside. It was off Willis's boot. Found a bit of space there, and we know you mentioned Willis was a bit quiet. It would have been the perfect start for the D's to the second term, so the ball to come back in via a throw-in. So just find the ball beyond the fence.
You Brick the Solder, they'd be happy with that at quarter time, North Launceston, and his job on Sean Willis. Very dangerous player and regular multiple goal kicker for Hobart City.
So in it comes, thrown in. Lee gets a hand to it. It's Willis again who gets it on the boot, gathered by Foon, a hand into the square. They'll scurry it clear with a long booming boot. Contested well, did Denman. It falls back to him. Sorry, not Denman, Harrison. As it comes out of play, they run out of grass there and out for another throw.
So real chance here for the Demons to get the first one of the second quarter. What a start it would be for them. So ball comes in. Lee won it down. Players converge. Matthews there, emerges with the footy. Walsh tackles him, as does Couch.
High press for Hobart City here, boys, as we look with pretty much 36 players inside the forward half of the ground for Hobart City as we speak.
I think that come off the head of Charlie White, but it went as far as Matthews. Didn't have prior opportunity. Forced the ball forward. Williams on hands and knees. Couch come over the top, trying to work something here. White won it back out to Matthews, who took on a tackler. Got off a little shot to the top of the square. It'll come off hands, though, and bounce through for a minor score.
Didn't get much of a piece of that one. So it'll be Lockhart to restart. Nudgy little kick into the centre, finds big Zach Burt. Ignores the hands. So you're right about the numbers pushing right up the ground. Cam Brown, as Burt takes the meterage forward to him, and he's kicked a shocker over the top to Will Hay, who's recovered after looking injured early.
Crowd didn't like
McCulloch into him, and he's back into McCulloch. They're on the ground, a bit of push and shove here. Not happy at all, Will Hay. Fireworks as play goes on, a kick over the top. It's Blake Grant trying to compete. Baker gets by a couple, hands it over to Maple, who tries to return the favour. They'll close it down though, North Launceston, in and under.
Didn't quite catch what happened off the ball there, but McCulloch seemed to get young Will Hay, and Will Hay did not like the treatment.
Wasn't happy at all as the ball comes up. It's White who wins it, and it's Matthews who gets a kick off. It's not going anywhere near goal, out on the full.
He probably could have almost straightened up there, Damo. It's always easy from the commentary box, but you would have liked to have seen him rather than kick across the body, because he's normally pretty good around goals.
Lockhart resumes things, kicks long beyond 50. White got a little handball over the top. Kilpatrick was working hard. go far. Baker will take it over the line for North Launceston. We'll have another stoppage.
They've been good in tight, haven't they, Hobart City Demons? Not something you really associate with them, but they've got some strong defensive midfield types in there. Will Campbell really does a job behind the ball, and Ryan Matthews wins it. And they've done well against a really good contested team so far today.
Well, Matthews seems to emerge from the contest with the ball 9 times out of 10. This time it's Couch, though, just scraps the ball forward. Bounce wasn't great for his North Launceston teammate. Falls to a Hobart City Demon who scrubs one forward. Charlton might have been pulled off it. Couch went back and got the footy. Got a handball out. Walsh tracks it towards the boundary. Can't quite get it to sit up for him. Eventually grabbed it. Got a handball back out. Couch might have got one high. In fact, umpire said he did.
Oh, it's a throw.
No, it's a throw.
Pinged him for a throw.
He had a hand over the shoulder. And the throw came. And Hutchinson will take the free kick.
Bit unlucky there, Tommy Couch.
So Hutchinson gets around one off half back as he looks to set something up. Kick was an awful. Homer will pitch that. Give off the little handball to Cox Goodger, who just tried to don't argue on Blake Grant. Ball inside 50 now. Chance for McCulloch, who just ripped it off his opponent, but he was claimed equally as heavy. And McCulloch not having a great day, boys.
Been really disciplined down back, Hobart City, and they're prepared to hold one back, and whether that be as a party or whether it be Hay or Wide or wherever it is prepared to just get back up and help.
Short ball's good to Hutchinson, who has it at half back. He goes wide and finds his skipper in Williams. He goes short now to Campbell. He sees something he likes out on a wing. It's Callendell who's found a little bit of space, and they can really launch here off half-back now. Dell sends a ball forward. Position, Caswell and Lockhart fighting hard, but there's that man Williamson bursting through. Got a handball out, and Willis fed it back to Cole. Little kick back was smart, and he finds Norton, who goes inside 50. Umpires picked out something here. There was some wrestling going on between, I think it was Caswell and it looks to be Burt.
Williamson and Burt. And it's a Williamson kick, so very fascinating there. You wouldn't fancy Williamson in a dogfight with Burt, I wouldn't have thought.
Look, he gets an opportunity here and to get one back on his North Launceston counterpart, and it would be a handy lead, wouldn't it? 13 points for Hobart City.
So
if,
Josh,
he can kick this goal.
So Josh Williamson, so often the danger man. Kicks truly straight over the goal umpire's hat, and the D's get another.
This looks a little bit out of sorts to me, Zach Bird, at the moment, boys, and I just wonder. Obviously, and that's the thing, I guess. A lot of AFL footy these days and TSL, we tend to replicate that. You get a lot of your drive from half back, but I just wonder whether it's worth Lockhart just rolling up onto a wing or into the midfield for a while and maybe pushing Burt forward, maybe throw Homer back.
Is Zach Burt the type of player you think would react well to being told to go down back when he's spent so much of his time up forward? We know he loves a goal. Might just be the coach trying to find another string to his bow so he can justify his spot in the team. He's had a couple of down weeks. Be interesting to see how it plays out as the umpire bounces the ball. Couch busts through the middle of the ground. Got a little handball over the top to a teammate who just searched around for a runner. Got one coming through in Whitford, who sent the ball forward to the pocket. Little bounce might be fortuitous here for Ponting, and it was, because he pounced on the footy and ran into an open goal. So North Launceston hit back immediately. Josh Ponting got a very nice bounce off the Whitford kick, and all he had to do was put it through the big sticks, and he did exactly that.
Yeah, he did, bro. He got a bit of a chaos ball in the end, but he made the most of that, I guess, lucky bounce. He just pushed his opponent under the ball fairly and then was just able to run on the open goal and kick a badly needed one for North Launceston. Brings it back to 7 points, but we've got a real game here. In early days yet, boys, but what we're seeing, I guess, from a Hobart City point of view is that they look like they're going to be a very hard team to beat at home.
Comes up, Lee with a good hit out, looking for Whitford. He goes hard at it. He's caught one high and it'll be a kick.
Yeah, that was a Campbell knee, I think. It was accidental, but he got one in the head.
It'll be a hard knee too, Will Campbell. Farmer boy, as it comes along from Cox Goodyear. Might just fall for Couch. He'll have to do some work, gets the hands out, falls nicely in the end for the D's, and they'll get out through the skipper, Williams. Finds Norton. Norton into the pocket with a handball. It might not have been the best option.
No, it had to be a handball over the top to Grant. Disappointing effort there from Trent Millhouse.
So
just need a little bit more composure there.
So Millhouse's kick out in the full, and now Homer might just sniff an opportunity on goal. There'll be some kick in his pocket. Saw Mark Walsh kick a nice goal from similar sort of range and angle. I wonder if Homer can do the same. He's got a decent piece of it, but it's across the face. Pack forms and it trickles out of play. So throw in deep in attack for North Launceston.
I want more from Homer. If they can light a fire under him, it would be very, very beneficial to the North Launceston side.
The North Lonnie goal here will leave Hobart City Demons a bit flummoxed because they've been all over him in this one. As it's Cox Goodyear who takes it after the ruck contest. He's claimed it will be another ball up.
Once again, we see the way the defensive structures are set up now, and from a North Launceston point of view, we talk about structures a lot, boys, but essentially it's about giving your opportunity the best chance to score from a territory point of view, as we see Cole break away from the stoppage.
Cole broke away from the stoppage as a party just knocked it forward, was working hard back to Norton. Dell will try and fashion a little kick. Couldn't hit the target, but he'll get a throw in.
Yeah, so North Launceston are pushing up, obviously, to try and make it really difficult for Hobart City to get out. And obviously they're looking at repeat entries if they don't score. So they're trying to ring that territory battle by setting up almost a defensive wall and structure that gives them an opportunity to score.
So when it comes again, Holmer working hard. It's picked up by Pearton, swung around, got a handball off to Cox Goodyear, whose shot was blocked. Here's Grant, who got a handball out to Williams, back to Grant. They work it off half back now, the Demons. The kick was a shocker though. It's gathered by Foon, who'll send North Launceston back inside. Two players fly. Mark was unable to be taken. Cole came through, got a little handball off to William, to Matthews, but it's been judged a throw.
It's just the ferocity of the tackle there from Tom Couch, which brought about that. He's lifted in the last 5 or 10 minutes, boys, for his team.
Tell you what, I'm just writing this one down, boys. I'm just putting it. I'm inking it.
Not even going to look.
Not even going to look. I'm backing him in here.
Can confirm the score sheet does say Tom Couch 2 goals. He's only put one through, so let's ride this one home, Gilly. Tom Couch, in he comes. Very deliberate approach. Looks pretty good off the boot. Gilly knew it was a fantastic kick, and North Launceston hit back again. Hobart City won't be happy with those two because they got the early break in the second quarter, and now it's just a 1-point ball game.
That's why he becomes such a valuable player, doesn't he, Tom Couch? Because you can almost put him down for 2 or 3 goals a game. Plus, he's going to get his 25, 30 in the midfield, so he can hurt you offensively, and he just works so hard defensively when he hasn't got the footy. And that's what a lot of this game is about now, boys, isn't it? Or what you do when you haven't got the footy. And he leads by example there. Great finish and well called, Damo. It's now back to a 1-point lead, Rowie.
So umpire Mark Tuckett gets things going in the middle. Lee won it down straight to Cox Goodyear. Busted the tackle. Fantastic handball off to Whitford, who got it moving forward. Homer couldn't trap it. Lockhart, he's forward. That's what you wanted to see, Brownie. Sends the ball forward, but he's chopped off by his opposing number 11, Liam Azapati.
I'll tell you what, it's a clear sky, and we just saw a full moon. It was a behind.
It was a behind.
Yeah. Behind at one end and behind in the middle. So kick it from Callan Dell. He uses the full square out for Hugh Williams, and that one's taken over to be thrown in.
He's a great general form, isn't he, Hugh Williams? A terrific leader and obviously fantastic with his talk, but a good decision maker and organiser behind the footy, and been pretty steady again today. But as you mentioned, Ray, last 2 goals for North Launceston, so Hobart City will be looking for a response here.
Well, they missed the start of the season with a hamstring, and ever since he came back into the team, they've been a different look side at the Demons, that's for sure, as they look to go forward again. And Matthews had another disposal there, won it out to Charlton, who just sends a big barrel forward. Foot race now. Burt probably not the quickest. Demons through Charlie White.
Great
just
tackle.
Probably
Great
threw the
tackle
ball there. In fact, he did. Burt didn't get to the footy first, but was strong enough to win the tackle and win the free kick. He gets a handball off to a teammate. They get things moving out to the commentary wing. The ball comes off the hands of Jock White and comes out of bounds just near the commentary box in front of the interchange benches. So we see things resumed here. In it comes Lee, fighting hard. Matthews trying to just knock it forward. Ponting charged to the footy. One had a really nice handball though to Whitford. He'll set them up and put the ball inside 50, and here's McCulloch.
It was a great kick.
Wonderful kick, wonderful hands from McCulloch, who just got a little bit of separation but the defender wasn't going to be doing much there, given the kick was perfectly placed for the tall forward. And McCulloch with a chance to stamp himself on this game. He's been quiet throughout the afternoon. And if he can put this through the big sticks, it might just light a little bit of a fire under him and under his team. So in he comes, sends the footy on its way, and he knew it was a goal as soon as it hit the boot. Sails over the goal umpire's hat. North Launceston now hitting back hard. They skip out to a 6-point lead.
Yeah, you called it, Gilly. It was a beautiful kick by Whitford. He just had the poise to assess the situation and kick it to the fat side. And a smart play from McCulloch, just worked his way to the front, and unfortunately as a party couldn't get across. It might have been White to spoil on that occasion, and a really good finish from McCulloch, and a little bit of concern now I would have thought for Hobart City, with North Launceston very quickly kicking 3 goals in the space of probably 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, signs of a good team for mine, the way they've been able to get back in this one. As it goes up, Homer loses the hit out. It's down from Johnston, immediately into a little pack and up for another ball up. So Taylor Whitford working into the game. Lovely kick from him to craft that goal. He's had a couple of down weeks, so he'll be up for this one as it's off Homer's hands, down for Cole. He's caught. He's holding the ball, so it'll be a free kick for North Launceston, right in the middle of the ground, right in the bullseye. It's moved quickly from Event. It's a high ball. It favours heavily Baker of the Hobart City variety, but they get it out here, North Launceston. Baker, the opposition, a nudging little ball for Couch, and he's caught late after the mark.
I reckon that's 50, boys.
And that's a give me. That's 50 metres. That does not help. So Tom Couch will just wander on in to the square and put through his third. Starting to become a nuisance.
Was it against Nick Baker? I didn't see there. Just it might have been a bit over-exuberant there in his defensive challenge, but you're not going to hurt Tom Couch anyway.
Through it goes, and it's a third for Tom Couch and a 7th for North Launceston. They're getting their game going here at North Hobart Oval.
Yeah, worrying signs here for the Demons, starting to leak goals and a little bit of ill discipline creeping in with that one. Tom Couch, the last player you want to give 50 metres to, because not only will he kick the goal, it'll fire him up even more. It's a tough operator.
So a response needed here, Cam, from the Hobart City Demons.
Well, definitely, they just need to get their hands on the footy at the moment. North Launceston certainly outworked them in the last 5 or 10 minutes, particularly been on the back of a lot of the defensive tackling pressure. Great response.
Lockhart in at the centre bounce. They hit it down from Holmer. Cox Goodyear finds that man Lockhart, and he's wrapped up. There'll be another ball up.
So, Lockhart in the middle. Let's see if he can win a clearance. Homer clearly won the tap. Cox Goodyear with that big don't argue. Just tried to scramble a kick forward. Ponty went without the ball. Tracked now by Charlton, who won a little handball over the top. Dell, he gave the don't argue too. Was backtracking, gave the handball to a running Matthews, who was tackled. And umpire says that's holding the ball. You took on the tackler, who was Jack Event.
Twice in the last 5 minutes, he's won free kicks, Jack Event, for tackles.
So in they go again, top of the square. Players will fly. Another big mark almost taken. Here's Lockhart, who pounces on a loose ball and puts through a goal. So Jay Lockhart, he went into the midfield, he's floated forward, and he's put through his first goal. He's having a good game.
You wanted to see him crumb Cam Brown. He crumbed that one very nicely.
I just think he's got a lot to offer, and look, he's a wonderful player off half-back, as we know, particularly when he can break the lines and run and carry the footy and use it well with his foot skills. But just think we can see a lot more of this player in the midfield, and even as a small forward. And smart play again, and gee, it's getting danger signs now for Hobart City, Rowie.
Back in the middle again, Lee with a strong hit out straight to Cox Goodyear. Oh no, Hobart City Demons forward again. Bennett, who's been very quiet, falls for Ponting. He'll look to get a hand out. He shovels it back for Bennett. Hands over the top for Harrison. Oh no, he misses his target. Looking for Event, and then found a Hobart City Demon. Mansell with a spin, works it nicely to Lee. An ugly old punt onto the far side. Hugh Williams leads the foot race. He'll have time to look ahead. The kick up the line. He was looking for Willis on that occasion, missed him. They keep it moving though, Hobart City Demons. Williamson tries to just work it to his favour in the pocket, and it's fisted over.
Just had half an opportunity there, didn't they, with Josh Williamson. He had some separation from his opponent, but unfortunately Jesse Maple just didn't hit the target inside 50. Still the most crucial kick, I think, in the game, to be able to hit someone inside 50.
Chance here now for the Demons. They can't let this one get away from them. Already, just all of a sudden, 3 goals down. The tap is one down. It'll be cleared, though, by North Launceston, and only as far as the Demons player in Dell, who's been pretty good. So, Dell, he's a true centre wing. Just sells a little bit of candy, but wasn't his greatest move. Lucky he had the bail-out handball, but the short kick wasn't great. Off hands, Campbell tried to scrap away a handball, does so. North Launceston players gather. Campbell will get a second crack at it now. Couldn't quite gather the footy. Players all around the ball. Pearton, he's in there too, and wraps up the Demons player in a strong tackle.
After a dangerous opening term, we haven't seen too much of my man Oysters Kilpatrick.
They've shut down Oysters. The Rucks go at it. Whitford won the tap down and was ridden into the turf. Umpire might say no. He says, I'll have it please. And throw it up once more. So interesting little period of the game here. With the Hobart City at half forward. Campbell couldn't win the ball. North Launceston will, though. Here's Baker. He tried to take on Grant.
Caught high.
Caught high, though. Well, Grant won the free kick in the end. That's a great little ball inside 50. And here's your man. Oysters Kilpatrick gets back in the game. Takes a nice, courageous mark. Running back. Knew what was coming, but held the chest mark. So he's right on half forward. And he looks like he's going to have a ping at goal here.
I've put a rocket up in here, boys.
He responded to what you said too, Gilly. So good coaching from you from up here. But Blake Grant, a nice little neat kick inside forward 50 there. He's a player that Hobart City need to get some ball because he normally makes pretty good decisions by foot. And he found Kilpatrick. He'll shoot from about 48, boys.
Well, they need this one, the Demons. It's Kilpatrick, I tell you what, that looks pretty good off the boot. And that just squeezes inside the post. A wonderful kick for goal from Oysters Kilpatrick. He kicks another and keeps the Demons in touch.
Well, he's become an important player, hasn't he? And we're used to seeing him play a variety of roles. Sometimes he's played down back, but obviously with Dell taking in that position today, it just allows him to be released to play on the forward line, and a really great set shot for goal.
Yeah.
And a badly needed one for Hobart City.
He was confident, wasn't he? He went straight back and said, no, I'll have a crack here, and you could tell why. Beautiful kick for goal. And just what the D's needed, because it was starting to get away from them. So back in the centre we go. Up it goes. Lee's had the better of the ruck duel. He gets it straight down for Whitford, who finds Couch. Couch out looking for Cox Goodyear. He can't gather it. Falls not bad for Headland. He can't get it to a teammate. It falls out. Cox Goodyear borderline throws it to Couch, who's caught high. And that'll be a bit of relief for North Launceston. Just around the arc. A little dinky kick over the top looking for Headland. And he's all on his own. Where was his teammate? Headland will have a look, and he'll look to put through North Launceston's ninth. But he was absolutely all on his own there, Headland. And a nice kick from Tom Couch.
You'd be disappointed if you Kane Richter in the coach's box, because just after a really good goal to, I guess, steady the tide a little bit, the flow of North Launceston goals, and then all of a sudden just lacks marking there.
So Dylan Headland, it's a shocker. A wobbly old kick off the left, and it's wide to the right. So that's a real let-off for the D's.
Big let-off for the D's as they resume things, and Cole was forced to just attack the ball. We couldn't complete the chest mark, and now it's in the hands of Tom Couch, who just launches a check side shot at goal, and he kicks another. That's 4 for Couch. And after the let-off from Headlands, the kick-in wasn't good. Cole spilt the mark, and Couch made them pay.
Just too cute out of defence there. It was an interesting kick. Numbers around the ball were all red and black, and they've tried to really thread the needle and find Cole. And to be fair to Cole, his attack was really good, and he almost made a fist of it, but he never really stood a chance. And Tom Couch, you don't want to give him a sniff inside 50. 4 to the great man now.
What a quarter of footy he's played.
Back we go. Holmer got up, wins it down to Lockhart, who gets the clearance, sends the ball inside 50, and that's taken in the breadbasket by Cox Goodyear. That's an assist for your man Lockhart, Brownie. Now, Cox Goodyear, he kicked the first goal of the game with a magnificent long bomb from 50. He'll kick from a little closer this time, at the opposite end of the ground.
Well, I have no worries with the distance here, boys. He's a thumping kick, Cox Goodyear.
Smart money would say Cox Goodyear puts this one through. He's a lovely kick of the ball. He's a brute of a man. So in he comes, sends it on its way, and looks leftish, but it came back late. And that's a goal to Cox Goodyear as North Launceston kick a couple in a row and really make Hobart City pay for a couple of errors, and it all came from that Jay Lockhart clearance.
And this is where they're such a dangerous team, isn't it? 9 of their 10 goals have come from their midfield and small forwards. They've only got the 1 goal from the tall, which was earlier on in this quarter from Bart McCulloch. So really they're right on top here. Jack Event was really good early, trying to get North Launceston back into the second quarter with some great defensive tackles, and it's been on the back of Couch and Lockhart, and great response from North Launceston.
Fisted down, they'll run away with it here. The D's through Baker. He just tries to pummel it forward. Little kick. Mark Walsh gathers and runs it over the line, so it'll be a throw-in the forward 50 for the Hobart City Demons. They have some real work to do. The game has got away from them. They started fast in this second term.
Quiet game for Sean Willis at this stage, Gilly. Just can't work his way into the game. Full credit to Rick de Silva's done a pretty good job on him.
He has indeed. Holmer gets it down. Baxter Norton with a little toe, but just runs out of play. Yeah, the midfield of North Launceston has well and truly climbed on top, and Lee has given them silver service as well. I think he's been really good in the ruck, just palming it down, and the likes of Whitfield, Lockhart and Couch have been superb in there, and Event.
Homer doing a pretty good job chopping out, as he'll do here. One a little tap down to Whitford, who got a kick away. Ponting couldn't take the mark. Spoil came now. Peart and tries to work something forward. Falls only in the hands of Azzopardi. Got it to Hutchinson. Tried to go back to Azzopardi, but now Tom Bennett will get a rare touch. Has a man out there in McCulloch who went to his knees but got a handle back over the top to Peart, and it was claimed in a great Baxter Norton tackle. Good pressure there from Hobart City. So they linked up along the chain there, North Launceston. The young Mariner Norton stopped him in his tracks.
Hugh Williams of the junior variety's done a really good job on Tommy Bennett. We haven't seen too much of him at all.
Barely called his name, Bennett. He had a very rare kick just before, and it wasn't a fantastic effort at that. So in it comes again. Rucks go at it, taken out of the ruck by Maple. Tried to get things moving for the Hobart City Demons. Rick de Silva attacks it hard, tries to get a kick, but it's smothered over the line. We'll have another throw-in out of sight.
I said to Hugh Williams Jr. actually think it's Azzopardi, so Azzopardi done a good job on him so far. D's with a lot of work to do here. It's really blown out in the second term at North Hobart Oval. Deep dying embers of the first half. It's been a fascinating first half, an arm wrestle for a lot of it.
So, as umpires convene, I think we're looking for a lost footy. We might just go quickly around the grounds. Launceston lead Burnie 11-8-74 to 2-3-15. Let's go to the Twin Ovals, where Clarence lead Tigers 5-6-36 to 4-2-26, only 10 points in that game. And Glenorchy are leading Devonport at Devonport Oval 5-3-33 to 1-5-11. So an early jump for Glenorchy at Devonport Oval, but Launceston really torching Burnie 11-8-74 to 2-3-15 at West Park.
So in it comes. Cole extracts it, gets hands over, comes for Matthews. He's got to work through traffic, gives it to Cox Goodyear, but wraps him up in a tackle, and a good tackle. It's forced to throw, so they'll get it out of here. The Hobart City Demons, it's with Norton. The youngster's been not bad today. Through traffic does well. Matthews, I'm not sure what he was thinking. Got himself into all sorts of trouble. Drops the ball. Manages to gather, but it was holding the ball. You can't just drop it in your shoelaces and then pick it up and have another go.
And guess who? Lockhart won the tackle, won the kick, and now has Couch at half forward. So North Launceston with a chance here off the back of that Matthews free kick. Ball comes in, nice defensive mark taken by Charlie White. He flew high and the hands were true. So deep in defence here, the Demons. They got to work something out here as he just signals for somebody to give him something. In the end, just sends a high ball up. It was a shocker. Bert was paid the mark in the end.
He read that well, Bert. He's been sitting back behind the footy by himself for about 5 or 10 minutes.
Long ball inside 50. Players fly as a party was at the back for the Hobart City Demons. A little clearing ball. Won't hit a target. Couch was there. Lockhart on hands and knees. The Demons now with a chance. Norton tried to take them on, but was almost taken out. And the tackle came. So the Demons finding hard. Norton lucky there not to be stripped of the footy. As you said, Gilly, he's been pretty handy, the young Mariner. Baxter Norton, he shows a little bit of dash and he's pretty clean with his hands too. Holmer wins it down. Here's Cole, little over the top handball. Only went as far as Baker, who got it out to Richter Salter. Little spearing ball inside, was too skinny for Tom Couch.
Very interesting attempt from Callendale to get to that one too. A slide with his legs. Not sure what he was thinking was going to happen from that.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
So it'll be thrown in. North Launceston well on top here at North Hobart Oval. Charlie White and McCulloch to contest. McCulloch gets in front, but White over the top wins the hit out. Gets it down for Cole, who's worked hard today. Hands over the top by Grant. Further out now, it'll be... Who have we got there is Baker, who kicks clear. A bouncing ball out onto the wing. It's not well read at all there by White. And they gather it out, though. North Launceston, big booming boot from Cox Goodyear and a tremendous clunk from Bart McCulloch out on the lead. It was a good kick and he took it nicely, the tall forward for North Launceston. Hasn't had a heap to do.
Well,
but a couple of very nice clunks.
His opponent is young William Hay, who spent some time off the ground, and he's held him pretty well, Hay. The 2 marks he has taken, McCulloch, the delivery has been absolutely magnificent. Firstly, the first one from Whitford, and then that spearing pass from Cox Goodyear through the middle of the ground. You can't do much about that, especially when the arms are outstretched, and the arms are strong as they were in McCulloch's case just then.
So in comes McCulloch. Out to the right a little. Kicks truly. Both arms up. He's happy about it. That's his second. And North Launceston well in control here. Dying embers the first half at North Hobart Oval.
Well, they kicked 8 out of the last 10 goals, boys, and they've really turned it on and shown. While they've been a dominant team over the last couple of years at TSL level, and you called it, Rowie, just a beautiful kick, wasn't it, from Cox Goodyear? And knew, obviously, that McCulloch was going to lead to the fat side, but what made that kick so good was a piercing 45, 50 metre dart almost. And well done again from McCulloch, because it's one thing, I guess, to take the mark, to go back and have the composure to kick the goal. It's an even better result for North Launceston.
So the margin is out to 31 points here at North Hobart Oval in North Launceston's favour, as Will Campbell just wraps up his opponent in a strong tackle. There's the siren. So Hobart City took a 6-point advantage into the first break, but that's been turned around as North Launceston take a 31-point buffer into the main break. Some fantastic footy played by North Launceston. The Demons fell off the pace a little bit. Got a good contest here, but North Launceston look to have broken away here at North Hobart Oval.
Oh, look, a wonderful quarter of footy, wasn't it? And 5 or 6 minutes into that second quarter, they needed a response. I think it was Williamson that might have kicked a goal for Hobart City early on in that quarter, and then it came on the back of some terrific defensive pressure and tackling, in particular from Jack Event. I thought was terrific. Cox Goodyear worked hard around the ball, and what a quarter from the coach in Tom Couch. 3 goals as from a midfielder. That's probably the difference for mine. North Launceston were able to throw a few different players. We saw Lockhart go in there and win some footy. Whitford started to get involved in the game. Hobart City, there's a little bit of a sameness for them in the midfield, and they do rely very heavily on Ryan Matthews and William Campbell to I guess take the bulk of that work for the midfield. They aren't able to, I guess, throw too many players in there to give them a chop out. We don't see Williamson go in there. We don't see Willis go in there. Obviously, they're more predominantly half forwards, but when they probably need a blow, it makes it really hard, and North Launceston just outworked them, got on top. And what really impressed me, boys, was their finishing that particular quarter. It was 8 goals to 2, which a fantastic effort, and they'd be going in at half time, I would have thought, Roy, really pleased with their effort. And Kane Richter, he's got a bit to do in this second half with his team to get them back into this game.
Geez, Ryan Matthews works so hard. As you say, he plays a little bit of a lone hand in the midfield, but he's on the bottom of every pack, and he's always feeding out a handball. And if he's not winning the tap off his own ruckman, He's often sharking the tap from opposition ruckman, but you're right, he just needs mates in there. Will Campbell's battle on, but and Eddie Cole has too. Blake Grant's gone through there a little bit. Baxter Norton's been okay, but these guys aren't the bulls that you need in the midfield against North Launceston, who have the likes of Cox, Goodger and Couch, who are just big men and strong too. These guys are not going to be able to match it physically with these guys. So Ryan Matthews can. Jaden Charlton's been okay. He's done a couple of good things, but they need more in there.
They do, and that's where North Lonnie have an advantage in terms of the amount of plays they can throw through that midfield mix. We've seen them change it up. Whitford started forward and then spend the bulk of the time in that term in the middle. We saw Lockhart spend quite a bit in there. You can throw in a Foon, Event can go through there. So that's where they're able to spin the magnets and mix it up, and it's worked for them in that quarter. We'll run through the goal kickers. So North Launceston with a 31-point lead here at North Hobart at half time there. Major goal kickers, Tom Couch been superb, 4 to his name, with multiples as well. Bradley Cox Goodyear with 2 and Bart McCulloch with 2. Jay Lockhart, Josh Ponting and Taylor Whitford rounded out with singles. For the Hobart City Demons, Callum Oysters Kilpatrick, who was quiet in that term, but he kicked a wonderful goal from about 48 metres. So he's kicked 3. Josh Williamson with 2 and Sam Caswell, their other goal kicker, to the half. So the Hobart City Demons with a lot of work to do here at North Hobart Oval. North Launceston 11-4-70 with a 31-point lead over the Hobart City Demons 6-3. Breather now and be back for the second half. It's sure to be a tremendous contest. Stay with us. Launceston well in control, 31-point lead. Hobart City Demons with it all to do. Boys, what do the D's have to do to get back into this one?
Well, we were just talking off air, weren't we? And it was on the back of an 8-goal second quarter, North Launceston. So it's going to be hard for Hobart City, as I mentioned just going before we went out at half time, that the midfield, there's just a bit of a sameness for mine for Hobart City, and there's only so many different players that they can throw in there, and in particular it gets really hard for Campbell and Matthews, I think, to get a break and a chop out, and they just got outworked in the end by North Launceston. So, do you throw a Sean Willis in there, Rowie, just to give him a bit of a run around. He's looked a little bit stale, couldn't get himself into the game in the half-forward line. Does Blake Grant need to spend a little bit more time in there? He's normally a pretty good kick of the footy and a good decision maker. So they might just have to throw things around a little bit, whether or not you persist with Dell down back. Perhaps you've got to throw him forward, although he's been pretty solid down back. But yeah, they just need to get their hands on the footy. They do need a lift from some of those midfielders. Charlton, Cole probably need to get a bit more hands, get their hands on the footy. And maybe it's a young Nick Baker, the young Mariner, bottom-age Mariner. Maybe you throw him in the midfield. He can run and take the game on, but we'll see. They've got it all to do in the second half.
Yeah, I tend to agree. The physicality that North Launceston have shown, they've just got the bigger, stronger, tougher, more mature bodies. Tom Couch and Cox Goodyear are the two for me. As Cox Goodyear lines up in the middle of the ground at the moment. He's just arguing his opposition midfielders, and Ryan Matthews just doesn't have the mates in there at the moment. Jaden Charlton's a good, tough player. But aside from that, and Will Campbell too, but then it drops off. And you mentioned Willis and Williamson, but they are those half-forward types who probably just can't go with the North Lonnie guys physically.
But I don't think it's a bad call to try something, because the game will get away from them if they cop a few early. They've got to really start this second half strong, boys, and get a couple of goals away. So we're in the middle. Umpire Mark Tuckett to resume things in this second half. Jay Lockhart in the middle again. Brownie, you'd be happy with that?
Yeah, he thought he was really good in the second half of that quarter in particular, boys. Just got his hands on the footy. Normally something happens when he's got the footy. He'll break the lines or use the ball very well. So big second half coming up.
So Lee and White, up it goes. It's won by Lee, down for Couch. He overruns it. It's just swatted away by White. Taken by Campbell, a long ball. But it's well gathered. Nicely done from Richter Salter. Moves it out for Foon. He's got Mansell riding shotgun right near him. Just nudges down the line for Pearton. Pretty quiet in the opening half, Pearton. Connor Pearton just over for Mark Walsh. He's had a good season, Walsh. Nice shoot down the line, but it's just short of Whitford. Cox Goodyear gathers a booming boot over the top, bouncing towards McCulloch, just shovels it to Couch. Couch gets round one, eyes goal and finishes off. Tommy Couch, goal number 5, and the perfect start to the second half for the Bombers.
Well, that's not what you wanted from a Hobart City perspective. Two things. You didn't want to concede the first goal, and then obviously for Tom Couch again to kick his 5th. And look, he just becomes such a dangerous player. He's kicked a fair few of them from the midfield. He's spent probably 90% of his time midfield. When we saw him against Clarence Gilly, probably it was the other way around, spent a lot of the time forward. So that's where he's just such a dangerous player. He gets the job done at both ends of the ground.
Back in the middle now, so Hobart City need a quick response if they're to stay in touch. Lee won it down. Here's Campbell again out of the middle. Got the first clearance and gets the second. Little low scrubbing ball wasn't his finest. Richter Salter won a handball up. Has Foon, and that's a nice kick. Switching out of defence. He's got Baker, who just stops and props. Eventually sees something he likes, a handball over the top. They're trying to work it off half back here, the Bombers. Baker goes back in to help.
It's caught high.
But it was Goss who was caught high, who dived on the footy. So, chance to just settle here. North Launceston, they're at half back, and they'll look to just go long up the wing. Kicks to a contest, but it's, well, Dell had the ball, but the fist came in late. As North Launceston emerged through it through Mansell. Kick inside 50. McCulloch had to sit at the back. Whitford roved it beautifully. Flying shot at goal. That's a wonderful crumbing goal from Taylor Whitford.
That's textbook crumbing, isn't it, Rowie? Front and centre. And it was a good kick from Mansell, the boy from Western Storm, and playing at the Mariners this year, and just kicked it to that dangerous spot, and that's where you've got to be if you're a small midfielder or a mid-sized midfielder. And Taylor Whitford, when he's got that time and space, he normally buries those, but it was still a terrific kick for goal. And bit of a concern now, Gilly, as this one gets out to 43 points, and we really need a response here from Hobart City.
Yeah, it's a big hill to climb now for the Hobart City Demons. They'll go back in the middle. They've got to win some ball out of the middle. They're getting smashed in there. So it'll be White and Lee. Lee, first hands on it, down for Lockhart. Can he gather? No, he does, but he's wrapped up immediately. A strong Charlton tackle. He'll be up again for another bounce, sorry. No throw. Confusing myself here. As it goes up. Lee, first hands on it, down for Cox Goodyear, who tries the fend, hands it off, but throws it, says the umpire. So Hobart City Demons with a reprieve. They can just take their time. Campbell with the ball. They just need to just cool the jets a little bit here, the Hobart City Demons. They've got their backs against the wall. A long ball from Campbell is a good one and finds Williamson, who's done a power of work to meet it at the 50. Right on the paint is where Zach Burt stands. So it's going to ask plenty from Williamson. You think too much.
So Williamson, he's kicked 2 so far this afternoon. And gee, they need this one, the Demons. Pretty deliberate approach. Certainly backs himself, sends it on its way, but it didn't look good off the boot. In fact, it won't register a score. It's out on the full to the near side.
Never looked like it, did it, Rowie?
No, it was straight. It slewed off the right-hand side of the boot. So, North Launceston, I'll resume things here. They do exactly that. Kick across goals. An old floater fell off the hands of the Hobart City Demons player, though. Mansell will win a handball, though. Back to Baker, who kicked towards a wing, and it's a good kick to Bennett. Haven't called his name much this afternoon, but gets a kick up the ground now. Kick in board's also a good one. Now they're away. North Launceston now through Mansell. Kick was smothered. Bouncing ball towards the boundary. Couch is there. Tried to grab it. Wrapped up by Charlton. Ball spilled free.
Oh,
geez, that's
harsh. The umpire says that was holding the ball. That's a really interesting
I think he's even called it a throw.
It might have been a throw, so that makes a little bit more sense. Kick wasn't great from Charlton, gathered there by Pearton. Whitford now, handball to Cox Goodyear, worked it back to Pearton. Fell into the hands of Hobart City player. Williams tried to win it. Matthews there, charged through like a bull, gathered the ball, lost it, went and got it again. Handball to Norton. Williams spilt the beans. Pressure came from Whitford. He isn't out of the jungle yet. Got a handball, lost to Azzopardi. They're fighting hard here, the Demons. They can't clear the footy. And now Bennett comes in for the tackle, and they'll get a little bit of respite because it was high. And Millhouse will win the handball away to a teammate. And they're still not out here, the Demons. Dell just puts a high ball to half forward, but that's going to be punched away. Richter Solders at the bat, gathers the loose footy. Handball now. A little kick across the park is good. Short footy here for North Launceston. Whitford has it in the middle of the park. Just was a little bit cute, but got the handball away. Here's Funa, just shakes off the Eddie Cole tackle and goes inside 50 in the McCulloch direction. Got a horrible bounce. Has to track it towards the boundary, but did magnificently. Got it onto the right-hand side of the boot for the check side attempt. But it misses to the near side, and that was a little bit ambitious there.
A bit of showtime there from McCulloch.
McCulloch. He probably had better options inside, but can't blame him.
Nothing coming easy for the D's at the moment, boys, as Dell kicks this one out from full back. Comes to Kilpatrick with a spin, does well, hands over the top for Baker, has it smothered, taken from Mansell. Bennett on the boot, into 50. Dell should lay his name to this one. Doesn't quite gather, gets a boot to it, bouncing away. Baker tries to gather for Hobart City Demons. It falls to the opposite Baker, just over the top to Pearton. A beautiful kick, good vision from Baker. Finds the bearded Pearton, and he'll go back and look to put through North Launceston's 14th of the game. And you'd think a goal here would signal lights out for Hobart City Demons.
Would make it extremely tough.
So in comes Pearton. Stroll beyond the arc. Goes out to left to get himself some distance. And he needed it because he's fallen just short as it's touched over the line. And the D's escape.
Versatile player, Connor Pearton. He's played forward early on this year, half forward, and kicked multiple goals for North Launceston, but predominantly been playing across the wing and half back.
So 45 points the margin here at North Hobart Oval as Kilpatrick just dances around one. He's in strife though. Gave the handball up to Couch. In fact, it wasn't a handball, it was another throw. That's been called a few times.
Jay, I'll have a look at this one, Rowie.
So, Jay Lockhart, a chance to kick his second, and I tell you what, this would put him firmly on the radar if he could dab this, because it would take a very nice effort. We know he's a wonderful kick of the footy. He'll kick from around 45. He just improves the angle a little bit, sends it on its way. It was a low ball, and it faded away. Not only did it make the distance, it was offline. As Dell tries to just clear defensive 50. It won't happen though. Matthews tracks the bouncing ball. Event went after it, couldn't take hold of it. Players now trying to just work it forward, and it'll bounce over the boundary line as Baker affected the tackle.
Gee, they're well organised, North Launceston, in the back half. You can just see him setting up with Walsh and Burt. Lots of setting up their structures in the back half to make sure Hobart City don't get any easy ball out the back.
The Rucks go at it. White had a piece of it and won it down. North Launceston scrapping a ball inside 50. Millhouse clearing. Tried to find the chest of a player. Couldn't do so, but it was gathered and now moved forward again. Here's Williamson. Underneath the footy, spilt the beans, but he'll recover. Just pop one over the top inside 50. Found a target too. Nice mark taken inside 50 for the Demons.
Kilpatrick.
And Kilpatrick.
Well, he's been there most likely forward, and he's good in traffic too, Kilpatrick. He's got some nice lateral ball movement and doesn't panic when there's pressure around him, and can make good decisions by hand, particularly around a stoppage or a contested situation. But he's got an opportunity for his fourth, which would be a terrific return as a mid-forward today.
Genuine chance here for a fourth goal for Kilpatrick, and don't his team need it. He's been pretty accurate so far this afternoon. In he comes, the left-footed kick looks pretty good.
Beautiful.
Kilpatrick having a little mini day out. His team aren't winning, but he's kicked 4 and just keep the Demons in touch.
Very casual approach there from Kilpatrick, but once it went to boot, it didn't look like missing.
He's a nice kick though.
He's been good. Oysters, Kilpatrick.
That's their modus operandi, isn't it, Gilly, to get that ball in and have some space, because it's not a tall forward line. Probably got 3 or 4 guys there around that sort of 185 centimetre mark, so they do need to lower their eyes or just rely on fast ball movement where players can run into some open space.
Lee with a hit down. A pack forms almost immediately. I'll just scrimmage it out. Another ball up. So Hobart City Demons with a crucial goal, but they've still got a big job to do. Hit out down for Event, stolen by Caswell. Bit of time and space. Gets it out to the left-hand side, over the top for Willis. We haven't seen a lot of him. He's got a bit of space to do his work. Over the back looking for Eddie Cole, asking plenty. And Willis was dealt with after he got rid of it, so it'll come back.
I didn't see who the free kick was against there, Rowie, but it was probably unnecessary because he was already under pressure, Sean Willis, and it was a bit of a nothing kick and an easy one to defend on that occasion for North Launceston. It was young Cole that was competing against 2 players, but now with a bit of ill discipline he gets a shot on goal.
So Cole has a look, snaps around and through the middle, so Hobart City Demons string a couple together and they might not be done with yet.
2 in a row to the Demons. They bring the margin back to 33. Still beyond 5 goals, but slightly more manageable. It was creeping towards 50 a short time ago. They've kicked the last 2. And who knows? Can they mount some sort of challenge here, the Demons? There's a little bit of ill discipline there that handed them that goal. It was a nice finish from Eddie Cole. And Oysters Kilpatrick, he seems to be the go-to guy as the ball slammed into the middle of the turf. Lee won it down once again. Event, but Couch came busting through. He's running through the middle of North Hobart Oval. Took a bounce and sent a long ball on its way. And my word, he's a good player, Tom Couch. Never looked in doubt. Wonderful goal, Tom Couch.
I've run out of superlatives, Gilly. I've watched a fair bit of footy in my time, and I don't think I've seen a better Probably 45, 50 minutes of footy. Probably a little well held by his standards in the first quarter, Tommy Couch. But since then, what's that, 6 goals from the midfield? That's extraordinary.
And that goal, he just pinned the ears back and he did not look like passing off.
Much time.
He always senses the moment too. He just pops in and he's a tremendous player as Lee wins it down from the ball up. Away it comes, the way of Hobart City Demons. They should mop it up though, North Launceston. They've got the numbers. Handed out through a vent. Mansell with a nice palm off. Finds Baker through traffic. Moves it down the broadcast wing. But it's the opposition in Dell. He's done a pretty good job back there. So Callan Dell gets it moving down the wing. His target is a small one in Cole and never really stood a chance with red and black all around him. Burt tries to just pinpoint it and he finds Lockhart. Out to the far side, they'll get it moving through Foon. Over the top. And it's with Headland. Headland, a long ball down, looking for Tommy Bennett. It's fisted away from him. Whitford might claim it. He's wrapped up as soon as he gathers. It's a good tackle from the D's. And it's a ball up. So, Hobart City Demons with some good pressure there. This game is well and truly in North Launceston's hands. 14-6-90. They lead the D's. 8-3-51 as it comes down. Matthews farms it out. A kick down the wing is a good one. Finds Caswell, handed off to Charlton. It's well claimed by Callan Dell. He goes for a low pass, a spearing effort, can't quite find Williamson. It's well picked up by Cole. Comes to Kilpatrick, hands it off for Willis. He'll snap around the corner, and in it goes. So the Hobart City Demons, with that trademark fast ball movement, get another 9 goals, 3-57. Plays 14-6-90.
Well, we've seen him do that on many occasions over the last year and a bit, Sean Willis, and that's one of the few times he's able to get some separation and space, and he normally punishes you across his body. Very good kick in that situation. So a good response there from Hobart City. But just getting back to Tom Couchrow, you just wonder. I mean, he was terrific in the state game last week and been a dominant player today, but gee, only played the 3 games at AFL level. It just shows how hard it is to crack that competition at that elite level.
Yeah, well, he's making this competition look very, very easy as there's a high tackle called. I think it might have been on Jaden Charlton.
Just on Tom Couch, 6 goals today. It is his birthday, so I reckon he's risen for the occasion.
A little birthday treat for Tom Couch as Hobart City send a ball inside 50. Richter Salter's back there. He'll chop it off and kick a little one over the top to Pearton, who's at half back. Little ball inside. Make Whitford work for it. Couldn't take the mark, but got the handball up to Lee. Got it back to Whitford, who's worked his way into the game this afternoon. Little ball out wide's a good one to Callum Harrison. He has it on true centre wing. So Harrison just assesses what he has in front of him and decides to just lay the boot in and kick towards 50. Players will fly. I think it was McCulloch at the back who might have got a free kick, actually.
It's going to go to Lockhart, I think.
Lockhart will get the kick, though.
Just to judge that, I think it was Huey Williams there had screened him.
As the handball comes around the back, long kick to the top of the square. Nobody at home, though, except for Charlie White, who took a nice defensive mark. He's done that a couple of times today. That'll harden the ruck with Alex Lee, Charlie White. That's an interesting kick in, and Louis Holmer juggles the footy and takes the mark. It was a little bit dicey. I wasn't sure if he did complete the mark. Umpire said he did, though. It was a shocking kick inboard from Charlie White. Holmer pounced, gobbled up the mark, and will kick what should be a certain goal.
I reckon he's had about 6 touches to gather that mark. Had quite a few bites of the cherry, but completed it. Louis Holmer. Big hairy Holmer. Strolls on in.
Well,
and offline. Not good from Holmer.
Holmer lets the Demons off the hook there because it was a horrendous kick in. I'm not sure it was. Well, it was Charlie White, actually, after taking that mark. Let's see. Well, they dice with death there again, but Charlton's good enough to take the mark inside 50. Short ball is good as they look to work it out. Ball moves laterally. Here's Kilpatrick, who just feeds off a little handball. It's Blake Grand, who's forced to do battle with Baker. Got it back to Kilpatrick, who's at half back now. Kick towards the wing, and he has a party direction. He's been moved forward. couldn't take the mark, but fought hard to win the footy in, but he's gathered and tackled by Alex Lee. And the umpire blows the whistle and says, give me the footy, I'm going to ball it up.
It's quite laconic, isn't he, Kilpatrick, the way he goes about things. Really composed, though, and doesn't panic.
And he
makes good decisions.
It's one down. Cox Goodger's in there, bustles his way through, gets a handball out. Pearton, little ball out towards the wing. It might have a little bit too much sauce on it, and it did for Baker. It'll bounce out of bounds directly in front of our commentary position.
So it'll be thrown in by Jacob Bevis, star of the Bev Show. He'll toss it on in. Lee under it, gets enough on it to just guide it to Cox Goodyear. He can't quite pick it up. Caswell providing chase. They wrap him up. It spills out though. Tommy Couch gets a boot on it. Ponting over the top. Out there looking for Headland. He does well to tackle his opponent in Millhouse. And it's a stoppage. Right on the paint. Right in the guts of the ground. And North Launceston will look to add another. So it's up for Homer. Palms down. Couch. Is there a pot of goal at the end of the rainbow? No.
Well, that was for his 7th major. And talk about a pot of gold. Wow. 7 goals from the midfield. Not on this occasion, though. It's Hobart City. Get things moving beyond 50. It's gathered off hands. Scrabby old ball. Straight up and down the mine shaft. Dell was there, gathered his own footy, had a little bit of time and space, farmed off a little handball, but Baker's in a lot of trouble. Eventually gave it up. Umpire will call advantage. North Launceston looked to move it forward. Couch now, what can he produce? Caswell gathered him in the tackle. Cox Goodger got the handball off to Mansell, who just shakes one off and puts the footy inside 50, but it'll be out of bounds on the 4 as it went in the McCulloch direction.
It's a Tom Couch show, I know today, boys, but he's just so clean, isn't he? He doesn't fumble. And when he gets that ball off hands at a stoppage, he just breaks through at pace.
He's a strong ball, especially under pressure. It's where he does his best work. That spearing ball comes in to Hay. He gives off to Charlton, who kicks beyond 50 to a one-on-one. Might have been one over the shoulder there. Umpire said nope. It's Henry Johnston, who will probably compete the ruck now with Alex Lee. He's been chopping out for Charlie White this afternoon, but Lee's had a big day in the ruck. He wins it down once more. Players converge. Campbell in there. One out to Matthews, who kicks to the middle of the ground. Contest at half forward. It's off hands. Players fighting hard. Everybody able to gather the footy cleanly as players, well, comes up with it. The umpire says no, it's not going anywhere.
I agree with you, Roy, about Alex Lee. I think he's been really important today and given his midfielders first use of the footy. And look, it didn't have a lot of time in the ruck when Rosendale was the #1 ruckman for North Launceston going back a few years ago, but he's a grand final player and has done really well again today.
So they try and get it out. It's Wadley on the ball, finds Foon. Punt down the ground is well gathered by Hutchinson, just nudges it towards Matthews, hands back to his skipper and Williams. Over the top he'll go, and you'll find Millhouse. Into the outer side, sells Blake Grant into a bit of trouble. It's over the top from Headland. Gathered well in the end by Hay, but his kick isn't the best. It might just be Lockhart who emerges with it. Support comes for Hobart City Demons, but it falls for Ponting. Ponting goes back to Mansell, and then to Lockhart. He sells Whitford into some trouble, almost fists it to himself, does well on hands and knees to get it to Ponting. Cox Goodyear with that trademark fend, gets it to Lockhart, then to Foon, back for Cox Goodyear, just nudging out. It's almost well taken there by Goss. Lockhart now, Lockhart, he has a look! Lockhart over the top to McCulloch, far too easy. McCulloch will line up for goal number 3.
Cam Brown was just rising out of his chair as Lockhart looked to pull the trigger there, but instead he just took a little something off the kick.
You're right, Rowie. I haven't stood all day and I was just about to.
So McCulloch straight through the middle. That one's too easy in North Launceston. They're well in control here at North Hobart Oval. 15 goals now, 15-8, 98 to 9-3, 57.
41 points, and it's going to be an interesting last 30 or 40 minutes now for Hobart City. They need to stick fat here and try and get something out of this game, but it's just the seasoned bodies, isn't it? The ability to break tackles, whether or not be Couch or Mark Walsh or Cox Goodyear. On that occasion it was Lockhart, and they're really showing the signs of being together as a team for 2 or 3 years, lots of pre-seasons and 50 or 60 games worth of experience playing against each other. Hobart City, a developing side, and it's just starting to show a little bit for them.
So Charlton tried to win a handball out. Couch just bustled in, and Matthews got on the end of a Couch shoulder as it comes out, and Hobart City just have no time and space, although Norton just snatched the ball there and got a little kick away. It was nice vision out to Blake Grant, who just tracks it towards the wing and sees his way around Headland. Short ball is good, finds a teammate. It's Jonty Barwick.
He's been pretty quiet today, Barwick.
Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of it at all, but in this case he hits the target. His skipper Hugh Williams, who kicks to half forward. He's got a man free. It's Caswell, half forward, who's battled hard all day.
Yeah, he's been okay, Caswell.
Caswell probably just looked to pop it up here. Just stabs one in board, but kicks out Tommy Bennett, who's been moved back. He goes across the ground to Whitford. He's got a little bit of time and space. Short one in board to that man Couch. Would like to see his stats. Sends one out wide. Hits the target. So steady build up here from North Launceston. As Harrison pops one over the top. Now it's Pearton. So tempo footy here from the Bombers. They've got gears. They've showed them today. And that's a good kick over the top to Holmer at half forward, who gets things moving. A little handball off. I think it was Walsh, and he found a target inside 50. And Colton Wadley will have a shot on goal just to extend this lead. And it's, well, Hobart City just don't want things to get too ugly here.
It's tough to see Hobart City Demons mounting a defence from here. North Lonnie well in control.
Wadley.
Colton with a K.
Colton with a K. Not sure what his parents were thinking there, but he sends a high ball. It's long and it's offline, so Colton Wadley can't convert. Hobart City look to bring things in quickly. They do that. Kicks beyond 50.
Oh,
Nice mark almost taken there as the handball's given to Matthews. He gets things moving forward. Here's how they play their footy. Williamson couldn't take the mark. Burt got the crumbs. Looks to switches on for Ponting, who takes the mark cleanly. He's got time. Finds a target. So Jock White has it at half back. Little kick inboard. Wasn't his finest. Showed a lot of it to Baxter Norton. Affected the spoil.
great tackle.
And that's a great tackle from Ponting to wrap up.
Area of growth for his game, I think, isn't it, Williamson, there with the overhead mark there. Gilly, he probably should have swallowed that one. That's something he obviously needs to get more into his game.
Event wins the handball up. Kick forward by Headland. It's chopped off by Williams. Half back. That's a dicey old kick. And he's picked out the man in Cox Goodyear. We know he's within range. Fancies himself, just sends it long towards home. McCulloch tracking back. It was offline all the way though.
Yeah, he should have done better, I think, on that occasion. Cox Goodyear, it's hard to be critical of him because he's got a booming left foot kick and he'll back himself in, but he probably had some free players there if he'd lowered his eyes and spotted him up with a better percentage kick.
So the kick out from Hutchison. Oh, it's almost sold them into a bit of trouble. In fact, it has, but Baker good in traffic. Turns and gets it moving, looking for Cole. It's punched away from him by Foon, but he's good enough to regather. He's got a sea of red and black around him. Finds an ally in Baker. Gets it on the left and does well, really. Finds Willis. And the ball comes into 50, but it's in vain as the siren sounds into the third term here at North Hobart Oval.
Interesting from Burt there. He just had a flying shot at the opposition goal and registered a point, even though he was about 40 metres away. I'm not sure why he did that. Maybe he had a little brain freeze and thought he was kicking at his own goal.
I'll tell you what's really interesting. Big hairy Holmer shook his opponent's hand. I don't know whether he thought that it was the last quarter, but he shook his opponent's hand.
Well, a couple of really weird things just happening there for North Launceston.
But they're well in control on the scoreboard, Rowie. 15-10, 100. well on top of the Hobart City Demons, 9-3-57. The result, a foregone conclusion from here, you'd think.
It's a 4-goal to 3-quarter for North Launceston. They actually looked probably a little bit better in that quarter and probably should have been a little bit further in front. So it's going to be difficult now. I guess the challenge for the Hobart City is probably to get this margin and keep it under 50 points. North Launceston, if you're Tom Couch, you would want to put the foot on the accelerator and try and get a real percentage booster and probably get the game out to about 12 goals. So once again, Tom Couch was outstanding in that quarter. 6 goals for the game. McCulloch started to work his way into it really well. Whitford was important there with a lovely goal, and Cox Goodyear's obviously been really damaging by foot. And Zach Burt, to his credit, has sort of worked his way into the game in the back half. So it's all to do, I guess, from a North Launceston perspective now to try and really put a strong margin in this game and get, as I mentioned, a really good percentage boost. But Hobart City, they're trying hard, but they're inexperienced, aren't they, Gilly? They just haven't got that, I guess, body shape and size in the midfield and the ground in that area of the ground in particular. So it's going to be a difficult task for them. But they're a young side, but it'll be really pleasing for them if they can stick at it in the last quarter.
Let's have a look around the grounds as it would be approaching 3-quarter time in the other TSL clashes happening across the state. West Park, Launceston lead Burnie 16-11, 107 to 6-5-41. So they're easily in front there, the Blues over the Dockers. At the Twin Ovals, a tight one between Clarence and Tigers. Clarence 6-9-45 lead Tigers 4-3-27, and a little bit closer than expected at Devonport Oval as well. Glenorchy 7-14-56 lead Devonport 4-5-29, a low scoring affair into the final quarter at Devonport Oval. And of course here at North Hobart Oval, North Launceston 15-10-100 lead Hobart City 9-3-57. Just
quickly run through the goal kickers. Tom Couch, the major goal kicker on the ground with 6 goals. 3 to Bart McCulloch, 2 to Cox Goodyear and Whitford, who have both been superb. Ponting and Lockhart with singles. For the Hobart City Demons, Callum Kilpatrick with 4, Josh Williamson with 2, and Eddie Cole, Sean Willis and Sam Caswell with singles, rounding out their goal kickers. Got a lot of work to do in this last term. We'll have a quick breather and be back for the last term of this. City Demons 9-3-57, North Launceston 15-10-100. So back for the final term here at North Hobart Oval. North Launceston in the driver's seat. Hobart City Demons, well, this will be just about trying to stead the flow and keep it a respectable scoreline. North Launceston, they'll be looking for percentage because the way the ladder is, it might be important. So
well, he looks like Cullen Dell has actually gone to full forward for the start of this last quarter as well. So probably not a bad move. The game's gone. He might be able to get some confidence going into next week, and he might even start forward. So in that particular game, so I like that move from a Hobart City perspective.
So we're underway for the final term here at North Hobart Oval. Bounce favoured wide, who won it down, but Couch emerges with it. Another possession for him. He sends North Launceston inside 50. Outstretched arms of Bennett. Couldn't reach the ball, but he gets a second chance now, but he's judged to have thrown it. So Bennett.
Geez, there's been some throws today.
Yeah,
unbelievable amount of throws.
It's been really hot on the throw as Hutchinson just goes back to Grant. He kicks deep into a back pocket. There's a man there though. I think it's as a party, if my eyes don't deceive me. Little kick inboard is good to Williams. He's got Cole on short if he wants him. Goes that way. Needed to be precise, and he was. Cole went off, but he slipped over to his detriment too. Managed to get a handball away. D's in a little bit of strife here. Williams just elects to just go long in the Kilpatrick direction, but here's Homer, who just used his size and strength to mark over the top of the young Kilpatrick. That's a shocking ball inside though. He turns it straight over to Charlton. Takes the mark and gets things moving by hand. And now Campbell has it at half back. He finds a target on the wing. So Williamson, here's Matthews at half forward. He goes inside 50, little one inside, and it's a good mark taken down there. No, it was touched off hands, back to Dell, who Brownie mentioned. Scrappy old ball to the top of the square. Cox Goodger, they'll work it out here, North Launceston. Baker was sitting underneath it, but Cole came from nowhere and pinched the mark. So Cole, he's kicked one round the body snap today for goal. He can lock in his second here.
The kick did Baker no favours there.
He showed a lot of it to Eddie Cole, who pounced and took full advantage. And he hasn't had a bad day today, Cole. Comes around and pops it through. So, nice little start for the Demons there. They worked it forward and pounced on a loose kick, and Cole was the beneficiary. He kicks his second. The Demons kicked their 10th, but they're still well and truly in the wilderness.
Well, it would be great for them and for their development if they can win the quarter. They're obviously not going to win the game, but certainly there's a lot to be played out in the last 30 minutes. Interesting there, boys, just as that kick came into inside 50 for Hobart City, Jay Lockhart just coming off, looked like a bit of a knock on his ankle, so we'll keep an eye on that one as he just hobbled off a little bit there, so let's hope he can get back onto the ground also this last quarter.
Bart McCulloch off and striding through, so that'd be a souring way to end this game if they were to end it with injuries, as Mansell hands it out of the square. He's found Baker in all sorts of trouble. Manages to find space to get on the boot, but Campbell under it. Hot Soup gets it moving into the middle. It's a good ball that finds Baker. Good further kick. Out, he goes wide. It's a nice kick and it's handed off immediately. They'll get running here, Hobart City Demons. A ball looking for Blake Grant. He claims it with a juggle. Turns and burns and puts it out to Eddie Cole, who's all on his own out there. He'll turn and goal. Eddie Cole snaps and snaps horribly.
That was
just sneaks through for a behind in the end.
That was more Eddie Betts than Eddie Cole. The way he turned and had a look towards goal. Would have been a nice finish if he could have pulled it off, but wasn't to be for his third.
Yeah, it wasn't the finish of Eddie Betts as played on from Foon, a long kick beyond the arc, looking for Mansell. He's under it, he can't gather, nudges it towards Couch, does well in traffic, finds Baker, over for Mansell. He'll look back for Baker again, he does. Baker fends off one in Cole, just nudges along, just bordering the square and finds Ponting. So Josh Ponting, the big hairy Homer, the number 40 for North Launceston. Takes a mark on his chest. He's got Baker just wanting a little one over the top. Instead, he just puts it right into the 50 to no one in particular.
I'll tell you what, Homer's kicking this afternoon has been less than impressive. He's turned it over again, and now Hobart City will run things out of defence. Campbell couldn't quite find the target. It was Charlie White who was gathered in a strong tackle. And he's judged to have thrown the ball too, so there hasn't been many holding the ball decisions.
It's 15 throws we've got.
Incorrect disposal.
A champion data over there from Cam Brown as it's handed off to Cox Goodyear. He has a look over the top. It might just find Couch. It's run out from Hobart City Demons, made no real attempt to keep it in. And Tommy Couch has a shot at goal, and he'll be eyeing his 7th here. So Tom Couch from the pocket. He's good at milking those kicks. He goes straight onto the umpire. Tom Couch, 6 to his name already. Can the birthday boy blow out the candles? Oh, not quite. So taken quickly from Campbell, hands off. Sold themselves into all sorts of trouble here and straight back to North Lonnie. Wadley just taps it over the top, but he's caught high, so it'll be a bomber kick right on the arc.
They've had some real trouble working it out of defence, Hobart City, and that on that occasion it also was calamitous almost.
From downtown, Richter Solder, Rowie, offline and a behind.
Interesting, Rowie, what we mentioned McCulloch off the ground and Lockhart. North Launceston play Launceston next week at Utah Stadium, so there's an opportunity there to maybe rest up if there is any doubt on those players.
So out it comes, clearing defensive 50 off the hands of Mansell, gathered by the Demons as they look to go forward. Here's Kilpatrick. He was a little bit optimistic having a bounce, but he did well enough to shake the Kurt Baker chase, but the kick wasn't fantastic. It's Callum Baker. In fact, Kurt Baker, former Launceston player, I think.
It's been pretty tough with Bakers on both sides today.
2 Bakers, both wearing 17 for opposing teams.
2 Bakers, no candlestick maker though, because the ball thrown in. It's swatted down by Maple. It'll be collected by Norton on the outside of the boot. He couldn't, could he? No, he couldn't. Behind.
He's been okay, Baxter Norton. Can be really damaging by foot, and he's a nice move. He was actually, I think, initially in the Ally squad at one point, Gilly. I know his name was certainly mentioned. Obviously, a number of Tasmanian players have made that squad, but he was certainly in the mix.
Out it comes, pack flies. Lee was amongst it. Couldn't win the mark, but could win a kick forward. Long and high towards the wing. Williams tracks it back, but it's off hands, and it'll spill out of bounds in front of the commentary box. Here at North Hobart Oval is, well, there's still a fair old mountain to climb for Hobart City. It's probably beyond them at this point, but you just never know. They get a couple of quick ones. In it comes. No clear winner in the tap as the Rucks fight for the footy. Campbell just took the ball, wrenched it away and got a kick forward. Mark unable to be taken. Paddled on by Dell, only as far as Mark Walsh, who moved the ball forward for North Launceston. That's a fantastic mark. Outstretched hands, Tom Bennett.
He's athletic, Bennett, isn't he? Yeah. Can get up the ground and certainly push up.
Shown a little bit more as the game's progressed, but hasn't had a great day. His kick wasn't fantastic. Fell over the back of the pack. Fell into the hands of a North Launceston player, though, who had a flying shot at goal. I think it was Event, who's been pretty handy as well today for the Bombers, one of their real prime movers. Things get resumed from Will Campbell, who opts to go long. Mark taken by Hay, whose kicking has been a little bit suspect today as well. And speaking of suspect, that was a shocking handball that went straight into the hands of Homer, who found a man on the lead, and guess who it is? It's Tom Couch.
He's every sniff here, Tommy Couch. What'll be goal number 7?
Well, have you got another call on you, Gilly? Because the last 2 have been brilliant, but they've been behind, so
I reckon
I'm waiting here.
He's let me down, so I don't know what I've got.
Have you got a third?
So Couch lining up for his 7th, and you can tell he wants it too. Didn't even think about squaring the footy up. It's on a reasonably tight angle. Will kick from only 20 metres or so. Ambles in. Looks pretty good. He just gives the little fist pump. Tom Couch has 7. North Launceston have this game well and truly sewn up. They have 16. It's 16-13, 109 to Hobart City, 10-5, 65. Couch has kicked a bag.
Well, they've got the luxury of he'll probably just play predominantly forward in this last quarter, so it gives an opportunity for Ponting to perhaps get some more time in the midfield. Holmer's gone in there now, so Whitford will spend some time. So what a luxury it is when you can have a player like Tom Cowes to spend 30 minutes on the forward line.
Real opportunity to junk it up too. He could pinch another 2 or 3 though if things go his way. As the taps one down and Matthews is claimed in the Whitford tackle. They'll appeal for holding the ball and they'll get it.
I reckon he's stiff there. I'm not sure how he could get rid of it. He had one arm pinned.
There wasn't a lot of prior opportunity, but Taylor Whitford doesn't care as he gets things moving immediately. Has a man on the outer side who he finds. And North Launceston will look to go inboard again in that direction. It's chopped off again. Charlie White takes a defensive mark. Kicks across the ground. There's 3 Demons out there, but it might pick out the only bomber in Headland. Affected the contest. Norton won a handball up. Was smothered though, and he's just slung over the boundary line by Cox Goodger. Kilpatrick tried to remonstrate, but he was fighting out of his weight division there.
Caelan Baker for North Launceston done some nice things. I think a decent game from him today as the ball comes in. Holmer loses this one. It's won by the D's. They get it down, but Holmer has another crack. Big Harry Holmer gets it on the boot over the top. It's Bennett, hands it off. Cox Goodyear puts it up in the solar system. Bounces away and out of play.
Some big jobs in the last quarter. Huey Williams looks like he's going with Couch, and young Nick Hutchinson's got the job in on Bradley Cox Goodyear for Hobart City in this last quarter. So some big tasks coming up here for those boys.
So to be kicked in, they move it from left to right. Oh, it's a horror show of a ball straight to Cox Goodyear. He worked hard to get it, but doing themselves no favours there. Hobart City Demons far too cute. Big Cox Goodyear will stroll in and put this one away.
They've really struggled, as we mentioned before, to move the footy out of the back 50.
So Cox Goodyear, he'll wander on in. Will he bag goal number 3? Off the left, you bet he does. North Launceston with another. And a comfortable victory looming here in North Hobart Oval. Well in control, boys. Just party time now for the Bombers.
Well, it's hard enough, isn't it, when you're trying to work your way back into the game, but just an errant kick coming in there and well read by Cox Goodyear, but a really costly turnover, gets it out to 44 points. So disappointing there for Hobart City, but Cox Goodyear, it's such a damaging play. We mentioned early on in the call, he can win it inside in the midfield and has got some leg speed, a penetrating kick, but he does kick goals when he pushes forward.
So one out by Maple, tried to get the ball moving. Chance here for the Hobart City Demons through Matthews, but he just lost his footing. Cole has been pretty good today, just danced around a couple and did really well to hit a target out wide in Charlton. He's at half forward, just in 2 minds, but in the end decides to pump things long to the top of the square. Red and black jumpers will fly though.
Good grab.
Jeez!
Well, he's plucked that from nowhere. My eyes have deceived me there. Callan Dell has emerged with the footy because 3 red and black jumpers went up, fists and all, and are unable to get contact on the footy. Dell stayed down and held on to the Sherrin. So you mentioned at the start of the quarter, Brownie, that Dell had been moved forward, and if he could get a couple under his belt, was lift his confidence.
That won't.
That doesn't do much for him because he's missed from 25 metres out, and as he hobbles off, he might have copped a bit of treatment in the marking contest. So
always good to do that though. If you miss the goal, just hobble off. So then it just makes it look like maybe he had an excuse.
You can't stride away, can you?
Clever play.
One out of the C Brown.
What a kick! Roost from full back.
Long 65-metre ball out of full back. As Hobart City trying to work the ball forward through Cole. Matthews in there again. He's had a lot of the pill today. He's fighting hard as per usual. Ball spills out.
In the back.
It's been pinged again, has he? Oh no, it's been...
It was a throw again, wasn't it?
No, it's been called in the back. But it wouldn't have surprised me. As a little dinky ball goes inside, that's not his finest. He's picked out the tallest man on the ground in league.
Tell you what, he looks sore, doesn't he, Matthews?
Yeah, he's been banged up, I think, for a while now. Yeah, you're right. He's just limping as he's pushing his way back into defensive 50. He just needs a chop out, but unfortunately, that's his role. He's an inside contested beast with the footy, but he's worked his backside off again today.
As it's handballed up by Williams, over the top for Cole, looking for Matthews. Oh, it's nicely extracted by Whitford, but high with the fend off. Unfortunate for the North Launceston skipper, so it'll be Cole's ball First option closed down, so he goes right out to find Blake Grant, who's got plenty of space to use. He gets moving, kicks it out, looking for Williamson, who's been quiet. He'll look to spin around and find a target.
He has got some room to run around here, as you called it, Gilly.
He just nudges a strange little ball, not the option. And Mark Walsh burrows in,
on the ball,
leads head first,
good
and on
decision.
the ball. It was a good call. And Hobart City Demons will have a chance to register another major. He's been pretty quiet, Mark Walsh. They've been good in the
had
midfield.
a quiet day, and we notice him normally because he's such a beautiful kick of the footy on both sides of his body. But yeah, he has been quiet today, and so too is this young man in Jonty Barwick. So important for his confidence, he can get on the scoreboard.
So a good tackle from Barwick. Does he have the finish? No.
Never looked like it.
Never looked like it. So offline to the left, another behind for the D. Sorry, Roy.
He kicked across his body there, Barwick, and it went to the left-hand side. So Lockhart takes a couple of bounces outside of defensive 50. Got the handball off, but Baker was all wrapped up. He managed to get disposal free. No, he didn't. It was holding the ball.
It was interesting from the umpire. He called play on and then holding the ball.
He called play on, then raised the whistle once the ball was free. So, interesting call. Umpiring's been interesting today as Cole just dabs one inside 50. Homer was there, affected the ball. Maple worked it down. Here's Norton onto his left boot. That's a nice little
Good kick,
ball
wasn't it?
inside to Charlton.
No.
What's been called play on, was it not 15? Well, that's really interesting because it looked to easily have the legs.
Even a upper.
Was that a throw?
And now it might have been a little bit of holding going on, and Hutchinson will emerge with the footy, but that was interesting. It looked to be a pretty regulation little pass from Norton to Charlton.
I thought it was a wonderful pass. A wonderful pass from Norton. So his Mariner teammate in Hutchinson will look to put this one away.
I haven't seen him have. I've seen watching a lot of him this year, boys, and he's played a lot across half-back. Haven't seen him have too many set shots for goal at all this year.
And he comes. That's not great. He just puts it to the top of the square almost. Although not deliberately. Lee took the mark. He got it off to Baker. He's got the run of Lockhart now, who hit a target and does exactly that. Man out on the outer side. It's North Launceston. Just hold it up for a couple of seconds. Just to concede a little bit of ground. So Bombers with the ball. Retaining the footy here inside the defensive 50. I'll move it even wider. And out wide. To
Hayden Goss.
has the ball. Goss goes back the other way. Showed a lot of it to Kilpatrick, who just affected the spoil. North Lonnie good enough though to get out of it. Baker, he'll take a bounce even. Kick was affected. Here's Mansell, who put his head over it. Won the footy. Had plenty of company though in Baker.
Great tackle.
And it was a great tackle. Good persistent tackle from Baker. And even in the shadows of this game, he was putting his body on the line to win the ball. And that's a nice ball inside too to Williamson.
Yeah, good kick from Nick Baker. Look, he does a lot of things well.
Williamson just opts to pop it up. Bert's going back, as is Lockhart. But Bert claimed the footy. Took a nice mark. He's got Couch on short. Uses him. He's got a man on short too. Missed the target.
I mentioned young Nick Baker there. It's probably his kicking will be something for him to work on next year. He certainly will benefit from a bottom age year in the Mariners and be one that will push up next year, and you would think be a very good player for Tasmania at under 18 level.
Well, both the Bakers have been pretty good for their respective teams today. Both played different kinds of games, but both been pretty handy. So Hobart City through Hutchinson, get a handball back inside. Ponting has it now, a little tumble punt forward. Contest between Homer and Azzopardi. Azzopardi won the day, fed off a handball now. Here's Willis, kicks across the ground, nice shoot. Target out wide in Grant. He goes inboard with a little one. Oh, spilt the beans, the Hobart City player there, and now they'll be all wrapped up as North Launceston affect the turnover. Whitford was magnificent, spinning out of trouble. Cox Goodger, he'll hit a target and does that in Homer, who got away from his man. He's inside 50. Little chipping ball over the top, and here's that man Baker.
He's been good, Baker.
So Baker
Film on there.
floats forward and will kick for North Launceston's 18th. His first. They've been very potent.
He's been good, Baker. You're right, Gilly, and he certainly worked his way into the game and looked better and better throughout, and competitive team North Launceston. It's a competitive environment, obviously, to hold your spot in this team, and he's done himself no harm today.
So Baker, it's a nice looking kick. Umpire didn't move. He gets himself on the score sheet. The name's in the paper, and North Launceston, well, they can pack it up. They've had this one wrapped up for quite a while now, and that's just another nail in the coffin.
4 important points, because I think with Hobart City Demons push for the 5, they're going to be a hard team to beat for the remainder of the year, particularly here at North Hobart Oval. So they'll take the 4 points and be very, very happy with their own efforts.
Well, you've seen the last 3 games now for North Launceston, Gilly. What do you put the turnaround to today? Because they will be disappointed with their performance against Clarence and backed up with a close loss to Lauderdale.
As the ball goes up, I'll tell you in a moment, Brownies, it's palmed down from Lee, looking for Couch. They swarm all around Campbell. Lee on the boot. It's a tumbling old punt, looking in for Ponting. Willis picks it up with a nice one-handed pick-up. Gets it on the boot, looking for Hutchison. He gathers on centre wing. Commentary position. Plenty calling for it. He just nudges forward. Straight. Play it on. Handed off to Matthews. It was an interesting choice at the time. Down the line, they find Campbell. Big hot soup, what can he do? He's got a runner on the outside in Kilpatrick. Doesn't want a bar of oysters. Instead hands it off to Dell. Big Dell, long and strong, and bird in there. Swallows it.
Disappointing kick. It was always going to work in North Launceston's favour when they bombed away.
Speaking of disappointing kicks, one the other way as Hobart City Demons gather it back inside their forward 50. A pack forms. It's just thrown out of there. It's with Whitford on the outer wing. Finds big hairy Ulmer. He'll look inside. He's had an indifferent afternoon. Ulmer.
Yeah, he's had an interesting run of it in terms of his disposal. As we see Cox Goodger hand off a handball to a man out wide. He'll have a flying shot at goal. Looks pretty good off the boot. And North Launceston kick another one. So, fantastic running goal there. I think it was Whitford, it was. Who worked hard all the way up the ground and got on the end of it and kicked another wonderful goal. He has 3 for the afternoon. He joins Cox Goodger with 3. McCulloch has 3. Couch has 7.
Well, you get 13. 13 goals out of Cox Goodyer, Whitford, and Couch as midfielders predominantly. So you're in a massive position there if you start the game knowing you're going to get 13 goals out of predominantly midfielders today.
Yeah, they've been smashed through the midfield, it's fair to say. And that goal tally tells the story as it comes out again. Lockhart to Ponting, moved it forward, bouncing ball inside 50, it's gathered cleanly. Here's a chance now for another North Launceston goal.
Nice
That's
finish.
A wonderful finish from Harrison. Something out of nothing, and North Launceston have really put the pedal down to the floor now.
Well, apart from some of the obvious names that we've been mentioning today, I think what would be really pleasing from a perspective of Tom Couch's players like Harrison, we've mentioned Baker. I think Mansell's battled pretty well down back today, the Mariner and ex-Kings Meadows boy. So that's some really good upside, I think, for North Launceston today, just from some of the younger players. But it's becoming it's out to 11 goals now. So it's probably been a disappointing since quarter time, really, for Hobart City.
You asked about North Launceston, Brownie, and what I will say about them is probably the load being carried by too few before today. As the ball comes inside 50, Holmer manages to scrap it out. They'll get clear though. Hobart City Demons through Matthews, who does tremendous work in traffic. Finds Barwick down the line and finds Hutchison, who's pushed forward in this final term. Out finds Charlie White, who looks to hand it off to Cole. He's under the pump straight away, just nudges a kick for Williamson. Gathers well, looks inside. A weird old kick, but it might just turn out. Jonty Barwick through traffic, hands over the top, looking for Campbell. Baker fends and hands it off. He might just get it back. No, he doesn't. Hands over for North Launceston. Richter Salter will get it out of defence onto the outer wing, and it bounces out of play. As I was saying, the load being carried by too few coming into this game, and I think what Tom Couch was looking for was more contributors, and I think to a degree today he's got it. But in those 2 losses, they could have almost pinched both of them. They got their games going. It just took them a little while. So I don't think there's cause for concern. In fact, I think those losses have probably done them a world of good, because if they blitz through all those, I think they might have got a shot come finals. So I think they're still the team to beat, Brownie.
Chance here for Couch if he can get it over the top, but the shot was taken by
Big hairy
Homer, who put through his first, and he's lifted in the second half, probably when the game was all wrapped up. But Couch was streaming towards goal there. He wanted the one over the top, but Homer said, no, I'm going to take this one for myself.
Yeah, it's an important goal for him, wasn't it? Because his disposal's been a little bit indifferent at times, but you'd think there's still more upside in his game from a North Launceston perspective. But we were talking, early on in the game about the importance of Williamson and Willis. But some mentions too to Rick DeSoto, I think's been really good, and Goss for his job on Williamson today. They've been really good at shutting down a couple of pivotal movers for the opposition today.
Blake Grand, another that I think's been well subdued, is hands out of midfield, finds Campbell. Campbell finds a runner in Hutchinson. His handball, an errant one, misses Matthews. They'll snatch it back here, North Launceston. Not if Matthews has anything to do about it. He tries to get his way out of traffic, but he's swallowed up. It'll be a ball up.
Yeah, you're not getting around Cox Goodger. He's an absolute beast.
Free kick.
Umpire says there was a little high one there on the bottom of that pack, and that might have been a little bit of frustration from Ryan Matthews, who gave up the kick to Jay Lockhart. And as a man wide in Baker, who's also been very good. He sees Ponting down the line. Couldn't gather the footy though. Baker for Hobart City won the handball out. He's Caswell, had to go back, went one-handed. Hutchinson gathers, underground handball to Matthews. Hutchinson got it back, went by hand to Maple. He just forces a kick forward towards goal, but there's nobody home except for Burt, who's been pretty good on the last line. Taken a few marks in defence. Lockhart wins a handball up. Very classy play from Whitford. Back to Lockhart. Fashions something out. Fantastic vision. As North Launceston move it up the wing. Nice kick to Bennett. He has it on true centre wing. So he's won a lot of his footy up the ground today, Bennett.
Pretty dark, Rowie, at the moment.
It's getting dark. We might need to get the lights on. I'm having to squint the eyes to see just who's got the footy. I know who that is, though. That's Hugh Williams, the skipper. Sends one inboard to Matthews. The sting right out of this game.
Hasn't stopped trying, has he, Matthews?
He's had a lot of the ball.
It's been fantastic.
He's always still talking and working and trying to always create something despite the game being dead and buried.
It's not a great give to Cole. He puts it down the line to Kilpatrick. He's been quiet in this second half. Comes to Blake Grant, also been quiet. He kick over the top, looking for... Who have we got there? It's as a party, so he's found some space at the other end of the ground, and he'll line up for a rare goal.
Yeah, predominantly a defender. Played at Hobart a lot too over going back a few years ago. A couple of full-time scores, boys, as well.
As the siren sounds here at North Hobart Oval, North Launceston with a big win as a party, just to get something out of it, strolls on in and puts it through. So a late goal for the Hobart City Demons, but they were well beaten here today at North Hobart Oval. Hobart City Demons 11-7-73. North Launceston a commanding 21-13, 139. The Bombers again show why they're one of the teams to beat in the Southern Cross Tasmanian State League.
Really put the pedal to the metal in the back half of this game, eventually winning by, I think that's 66 points if my maths is correct. It probably isn't, but either way it's 11 or 12 goals, so it's what North Launceston really needed after a couple of losses in the state league. Hobart City disappointing. They took a lead into quarter time, it was manageable at half time, and it really did blow out in the end to 66 points. So 4 points for North Launceston. Hobart City Demons at full strength. They've got some things to think about, congratulations North Launceston, fantastic win and a real good spread of goal kickers too.
There was 7 goals to Hobart City since quarter time, but it was 18 to North Launceston. It was the second quarter, wasn't it, boys, from about the 10-minute mark, where they just broke the game open on the back of some really good defensive pressure, and it was their tackling and their work rate that got them into the game, and then Tomcats just exploded. You'll go a long way to see a better game from anyone this year than what he played today, and he had the luxury of spending the whole last quarter on the forward line. Ended up with 7 goals. goals, as we mentioned. I thought Cox Goodyear was terrific today. Certainly hurt the opposition by foot and worked really hard. Also, when he didn't have the footy, I thought Whitford ran himself back into some really nice form today with 3 goals. And McCulloch as well had a pretty difficult start to the game. Just didn't get a lot of opportunities, but again, it was a really complete team effort from them. You mentioned too, Rory Lee. I thought he was really good in the ruck. Goss, I thought, was his defensive job down back and Richter Solar. They'd be really pleased with their efforts. Tom Bennett started to work his way into the game. So, look, and Ponting won some footy in the middle, and as we mentioned, Zach Burgess started to work his way into the game too in the second half, in particular with a lot of defensive marks. So a lot to like about North Launceston today. From a Hobart City perspective, I thought they tried pretty hard. None better than obviously the Ryan Matthews. I thought he was terrific today. Just worked so really hard for them. Campbell was a good honest try for them again, as he often is. But Kilpatrick for mine was really good with limited opportunities to kick 4 goals today, and he looked likely, didn't he, throughout the game. But look, they'll have to lick their wounds and respond obviously next week. But it shapes as a really good game for North Launceston next week against Launceston boys.
And a winnable game next week for Hobart City Demons too, up against the Tigers. They'll still be smarting a little bit from when they lost to the Tigers earlier on in the season, a game where they were inaccurate and probably should have got the chocolates but didn't. So a big game for both teams next week. Hobart City Demons with some work to do. North Lonnie looking the goods. We'll go through the goal kickers quickly. Tom Couch, the major one, 7 goals to his name. 3 to Cox Goodyear, Whitford and McCulloch. Singles to Ponting, Lockhart, Callum Harrison with a nice one in the final term, Caleb Baker and Louis Holmer, Cam's man. And for the D's, it was 4 to Callum Kilpatrick, Oysters, and 2 to Williamson and Eddie Cole. Singles to Willis and Caswell, rounding out the goal kickers in a big win for North Launceston.
Yeah, big win here at North Hobart for North Launceston. We'll go do a bit of a whip around the grounds to see what else is happening in the TSL today. Launceston big winners over Burnie at West Park, 24-18, 162 to 6-7, 43. So 120 odd points there. Launceston winners over Burnie by. Clarence ended up skipping away to beat Tigers convincingly. They were 16-15. 111 to Tigers, 7-8-50. They've dropped off after half-time at the Tigers, as they've done a couple of times this season, actually, down at the Twin Ovals. And Glenorchy were made to fight for a win over Devonport at Devonport Oval in a low-scoring scrap. It was Glenorchy 10-15, 75, beating Devonport 5-8, 38.
That's all here from North Hobart Oval. Thank you, Chris Robon, and thank you, Cam Brown, for your company. It was a big win for North Launceston. We saw the Bombers fly up 21-13, 139. Far too good for the Demons, 11-7, 73. Bye for now.